Howdy, y'all, and thank you for joining us for another episode on David's Saturday Night Sitback. My commitment to you is that by the end of this episode, your internal fire will be burning a little bit brighter. Through my guest stories, I know that you will have the confidence to take your dreams, turn them into goals, so that in the near future, those goals will become a reality. So with that being said, let me introduce today's guests. Imagine you've got 30 reptiles in your room, snakes, lizards, small mammals, and you're filming YouTube videos not just to show them off, but to teach people. Your content starts taking off. You're hired to attend birthday parties to educate kids about your animals. You build a brand, rack up millions of views, and start believing you found your lane in life. And then one day, it's all gone, deleted, sabotaged by someone close to you. You walk away, burnt out, frustrated, done with creating, but years later you pick up a dumbbell and suddenly something clicks again. You realize this is another form of building, not just a muscle, but momentum, confidence, and identity, so you go all in. After training for only 3 years, you're stepping on stage and winning first place in Classic Physique at the MPC Branch Warren Classic. In 2025, you're standing at the top again, and this time it's not just for a trophy, it's for the redemption arc. Meet Beck Call, vegetarian since birth, Nirvana fan, and content creator who's been rebuilding his life in public and private for over a decade. He's a finance major at St. Edward's University, slinging coffee by day, sculpting his physique by night, and redefining what it means to create with purpose instead of pressure. Whether we're talking business, burnout, bodybuilding, or the moments that made him, Beck brings honesty to the mic and depth beyond his ears. He's not just here to chase clout, he's here to tell the truth. Beck, thank you for who you are. Thank you for being here. And welcome to your episode on David's Saturday Night Sitback.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it. That was a great intro.
Did you like that?
That was awesome.
How do you feel?
I feel great.
Are you happy?
Yeah.
About?
Everything. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be invited here. I'm happy with how life's going, school, everything. Business.
You know what I'm not happy about?
What are you not happy about?
Thad's farts.
Oh, yeah?
Sorry about that if you smelled it.
Oh, he farted?
Hopefully it just came my direction. But
I didn't tell. I'm a little congested, so maybe that's why, but he's cute.
Perfect.
It's okay.
He is cute. He's a good boy.
Yes.
Why'd you come here today? And what do you hope to get out of this?
I hope to get out of this a good conversation and just a good conversation, get to know you better, get to share my story a little bit. I think, I'm very active online. I post a lot on social media, obviously, and I have for a long time, but I've never publicly come out and connect the dots between those sort of. I've done one thing here for a while, swapped over, done one thing here, but I've never kind of put those together for people to see. And not a good friend of mine, but somebody that I really look up to that I had the pleasure of meeting. He's a professional bodybuilder and a coach to one of my friends. And I went to my friend's bodybuilding show, and I was talking to him, and he's very popular on social media. And so I was asking him, what's some keys to success? And he was like, man, you've got to share your story. He was like, I don't give a fuck how good your physique is or anything. It doesn't matter. If you're not providing value, obviously, to people, they're not going to care. And so he was basically telling me, share your story. And so that's something I've been trying to do recently on social media a little more and make less just clip here, music over it, boom. And trying to get a little bit more personal, because I think that's what's worked for me in the past with my, YouTube empire thing that I had going on for a while. So I'm sure we'll get into that. But yeah, just share my story more and kind of connect the dots for people.
I love that your first time is with me.
Yeah.
It's I think I told you, maybe I didn't, but probably 95, 96, 97% of the guests, their first time was here. And I've been thinking about, as the podcast grows, I start inviting, let's call them public figures
right
on, once I have the size that they might, actually think about the request. And about 3 weeks ago, someone told me, that's very close to me and listens to the podcast. He said, I hope that no matter how big you get, you keep finding the hidden gems of Austin.
Man.
And just letting everyday people tell their story, because that is why I listen. And after he said that, I was like, maybe I don't want quote unquote big guests on the show.
man, I really like that, actually. I think that's important and an important part of your show. And I think that's something you should definitely continue. Just the ordinary people, or not ordinary, but somebody that you wouldn't, seek out to invite because they're famous or whatever it may be. I think that's something that is really unique, and I think that's a good niche you have that you should keep running with, like no matter how popular it gets.
I appreciate the affirmations, brother.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun, man. And I think people like you deserve to get this opportunity. And maybe you're not looking for it, or maybe you don't even want it. But when it does come, you're willing to say yes.
Yeah.
And we get to see where it goes. And my hope for today is, I hope you figure something out today about yourself. I always like it when someone maybe has a small perspective shift, or as they're explaining their story, they start to just have this self-realization about something.
Yeah. I think that's something that finding more out about yourself, like talking, that happens to me all the time. Like I'll be telling my girlfriend something and I'll be like, oh shit, that's why that happened, or that's why I am this way. Or I'll remember something and I'm like, oh, I just connected the dots. So yeah, 100% that'll happen.
Excellent.
For sure, especially with telling my story.
How about the audience? Without, from a very high level, 30,000 feet up, we're not going to get into any specifics yet. But as you think about everything that you recapped to me on the phone, and maybe even things you didn't, and your life experiences, and all the different rabbit holes we could go down, why do you think they should stick around, or what could they possibly get out of today's stories, do you think?
I think they can get some valuable lessons about how, like, you might feel like giving up, but you shouldn't. Obviously, a lot of people say that, never give up. But I feel like I am kind of a good example of that because we'll get into it later, but perseverance is really everything. And continuing at something, no matter if you see a little success, like I like to think about it sort of like from an analytics perspective. If you're looking at a chart, it's not going to be linear, and it might have its ups and downs, or it might not move at all. It might be flatline for a long time, but eventually it's going to take off. And I think perseverance, no matter how long it takes, you will get there. I think that's something that the audience can take away from my stories.
I went through 95% of your social media preparing last night.
Oh man,
I'm not going to lie. And not your YouTube more.
Okay.
I forgot about YouTube.
Dude,
I found your LinkedIn, your Instagram, and your TikTok was the three places I went.
Okay.
And I subconsciously probably didn't go to YouTube because I felt like I had enough to conduct this conversation. So
YouTube's
I was like,
a rabbit hole,
we're
man.
good. But I am going to look up your YouTube because now I'm curious.
Oh yeah.
But one of my favorite posts was one where you said, the exact workouts that you're doing doesn't matter. It's more about the consistency of showing up every day.
100%. 100%. 100%. I think that's a big thing. Especially with social media, you want views, so you say this is the best workout for your legs. But in all reality, you look at all the great bodybuilders, or even if you're not in that community, you can look at tons of people with amazing legs or an amazing physique, and you can look at what they do in the gym. It's all different, and they all got there. It's more about finding out what works for you. And like I said, that consistency, because these people at the top and with that, physique that you might want, or you can extend it into other parts of life, whatever you might want, they didn't all get there the same way. There's a million different roads to get there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Would you be open to taking a 2-minute personality test?
A 2-minute personality test?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm open to it.
All
Fuck
right.
it. I never say no to a good opportunity.
We're going to find out if you're a cheerleader, a poet, a mad scientist, or a judge.
Okay.
Does this sound familiar at all?
No, it does not.
All right.
I've taken some types of tests like that before, but that sounds very foreign to me.
All right. So this is the Arthur Brooks personality test, and it's about 10 questions.
Okay.
Every answer, you're going to give me 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5.
Okay.
1 is very slightly or not at all.
Mm-hmm.
2 is a little bit. 3 is moderately. 4 is quite a bit. And 5 is extremely.
Okay.
So I'll let you read this first one to help solidify it into your memory. But the first question, for example, is how often do you feel interested?
How often do I feel interested? Okay. I'm going to say 5. Extremely. All the time.
How often do you feel distressed?
We'll go 2.
Why do you say 2 on that one?
Because I don't feel stressed very often, distressed, but I feel like whenever it does happen, it can hit pretty hard.
How about when you have positive moments? Do you feel like you enjoy the highs?
No.
But you do feel the lows big time?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
100%.
How often do you feel excited?
Ooh, 5. Man, I'm an excited person, man. If there's something that I'm going after, I'm all in. I'm excited. I'm hungry.
You're very disciplined, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
How often do you feel upset?
Ooh. I'll go 2. It happens, but
This one will be an interesting one.
oh no.
How often,
man.
How often do you feel strong?
Strong. Ooh. I mean, in the gym, never, honestly. I can always be stronger. I'll say 2, honestly.
How often do you feel guilty?
1.
Give it a few years.
Yeah, we'll see. I gotta let it marinate a little bit.
How often do you feel scared?
Scared. Ooh, 1. And that's the honest answer. I know a lot of people be like, "Oh, I never get scared." Genuinely, if I'm going to do something or if I'm thinking about something, I'm just going to do it. It's like whatever crosses my mind is if something's exciting to me or it's something I want to pursue, I think, am I going to die? Like literally die? No? Okay. Nothing to be scared about. Like, will I make it out? Yeah.
What would
be okay.
Is there anything that you imagine you might be scared of? Like swimming with sharks or skydiving or being alone or...
So I think those things you said would make me nervous, like right before the action, but I don't think they would make me scared. Even like going back to my first bodybuilding competition I did, everybody was telling me the whole prep, the whole time I was getting ready, like, you got this, don't be scared, don't be scared. And I remember on the day of, my mom was with me, you know, my whole family was with me. They came out and she was telling me, don't be scared, you got it, you got it. And I'm like, I'm not scared. I'm just not. Like, I'm not lying to you to be like a manly man or whatever. I'm genuinely not scared. I'm excited. And I get backstage and I'm getting ready to go out. I'm not scared. I'm just excited.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't get scared easily. I would say nervous is probably a better word to use in some situations, but I wouldn't really use the word scared ever.
I'm the same with you. I'm pretty honest about when I get scared.
Yeah, me too. Nothing to hide.
Yesterday, I had to protect a few identities here. I had an 80-pound dog attack me.
Oh, man.
And one of my buddies acted with Clark Kent-like speed
Oh, yeah.
and grabbed my whole body and pulled me back, and the dog barely missed me. Yeah, I mean, there's like a tiny little bruise that you can barely even see. But if my friend hadn't moved that quick, you and me probably wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Oh, man.
And at first, I almost think I was in shock, because at first, when they walked away with their dog, I was almost fine.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I was driving home, I like got very upset about the situation. It was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, there was actually a situation I was in, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, where I was at work and I don't know like what words I'm allowed to use or whatever, but
words.
Okay, there was a shooting at my work that they thought was a mass shooting that I was involved in, and that was scary. I will say that. That was the first time in a very long time I can remember feeling scared.
Yeah.
I was scared because I thought that I was in a mass shooting. I was not. One person was shot, but there was like a million cops, SWAT team running in. It was scary. No doubt about that.
Are you talking about that later?
100%.
All right, we'll get back to that one.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
How often do you feel hostile?
Hostile. 1. I'm not an aggressive person.
You're going to say 5 to this one. How often do you feel enthusiastic?
5.
How often do you feel proud?
3.
Your first 3. How often do you feel irritable?
Irritable. 4. I do get irritated.
What irritates you?
If I'm trying to focus on something and I'm really dialed in on it, like, for example, I'm looking to launch a business in like next summer, hopefully, or by that time. And if I'm like really, really locked in, just, you know, typing away, researching, whatever it may be for that, if I'm interrupted, that irritates me a bit. I'm not mean about it, but I'm like, oh man, like, because I'm just in my zone. You know what I mean?
Do you avoid working at like public places because of that? Or
Yeah.
do you, yeah.
Yeah, I do. I do. Like even at my school studying for stuff, I gotta have like a little private study room or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you ever see me, you know how I dress for the gym. If you ever see me with a hoodie on, a baseball hat, and over here headphones instead of my Apple ones, you know David's in a mood where he doesn't want to be talked to.
I'm not coming up to you that day, man.
When he's covered up, let him be. He's raging.
Oh yeah.
How often do you feel alert?
Alert?
Alert.
5.
Ashamed.
1. I live my life in a way to where I genuinely can say I have 0 regrets because everything's led me to the point where I am now, and without something that, you know, most people might regret that happened to me in my life, I'm not going to regret it because I am where I am now because of everything that led up to this point. And regardless if it's something that's, you know, negative, I'm not even thinking about a specific situation, but regardless of what it is, I don't have any regrets because I wouldn't be where I am now without everything that's led up to this point.
Amen. Turn that into a clip. How often do you feel inspired?
Inspired. Ooh. I'm going to say 4 on that one. That might be my first 4.
First 4, yeah. Hello. Okay. Determined. How often do you feel determined?
I'm going to say 5 on that one too.
How often do you feel attentive?
4. I have my moments where it's really hard to focus, but besides that, I'm pretty dialed in.
How often do you? This is a funny one. How often do you feel jittery?
Jittery?
Every day when I take my pre-workout.
Every day walking into the gym. Oh man.
Jittery.
No. But actually, I'll say 2. I honestly try to, you know, kind of ride a midline when it comes to like being stimulated, if you will.
How often do you feel active?
I'll say 5.
How often do you feel afraid?
Afraid. I'm gonna say a 1 on that one too.
Are you ready?
Am I ready for my outcome?
Oh boy.
Okay, this is gonna determine the rest of my life right here.
Yeah. What would you say, even though we don't know each other extremely well, how would you react to hearing that we had the same results?
I can see that.
You could?
Yeah, I can see that you're a very driven person, and I mean, especially I've, you know, scrolled through your YouTube, watched some of the podcasts, and I can just tell by like the way you talk and stuff that we are very similar, especially with like the discipline to, you know, you're getting these episodes out all the time, man, without fail, and that's something that I have the same quality about myself. So I'm not surprised at all.
I appreciate the kind words.
Yeah.
That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Of course.
Well, we are, at least according to this test.
Okay.
So you are a mad scientist. This
Hell yeah.
means that you have a high positive and negative effect, or put another way, you tend to feel both positive and negative emotions deeply. Everything is awesome or everything is terrible, depending on your mood. This leads to a cascade of good qualities. Mad scientists usually are highly extroverted, passionate about their interests, deeply curious, and relentless seekers. We often see this profile in CEOs, entrepreneurs, consultants, and all types of adventure seekers who travel for their jobs. But this effect profile does come with a cost. You feel intensely, high highs and low lows. The emotional range powers real strengths. You're curious, energetic, extroverted, and relentless in pursuit of what matters. Mad scientists often thrive in fast-moving, creative, or entrepreneurial roles where passion and pace wins. Watch outs. Intensity can tip into rash decisions, overpromising, or spiraling when things go wrong. Overconfidence on good days and discouragement on bad days can lead to whiplash for you and your teammates, friends, or family. Remember, no profile is better. The point is self-knowledge. Use your strengths on purpose and keep an eye on the pitfalls.
Okay. The one kind of pushback I will say to that is I genuinely don't often have bad days. How it's describing, like, yes, I do feel high highs and I do feel low lows, but usually if I have a low low, it's very short, like hours at most. At most, I like every night going to bed, I usually am always thinking, man, this was a good day. Like genuinely, like seriously, I have a very, very positive outlook on everything. And even if something shitty happens, I'm like, well, could have been worse. Or, well, it'll be fine. I'm not going to be broke. I'm not going to be dead because of this. I'm not going to be, whatever it might be.
You have a very healthy outlook for 21 years old, Beck.
20 years old.
Oh, 20, sorry.
20 years old, yes.
Usually I don't talk about people's significant others on the show, so we'll keep this very high level, but it does give a complimentary profile, and I'm curious if this reminds you of her or not.
Okay.
Your complimentary profile as a judge, low positive and low negative effect, helps you slow down, think clearly, and commit to plans you'll actually keep, while your energy helps them take smart risks and embrace new opportunities. Does that fit into your guys' dynamic a little bit, or not so much?
I will say a little bit, but I do feel like she does have pretty high highs as well and pretty low lows. Honestly, I feel like me and my girlfriend might both be the same. Because whenever you read the mad scientist descriptor to me, it also kind of translates over to her a lot. But her low lows and her high highs kind of last longer than mine usually do. I'm usually very fast moving when it comes to like emotional stuff.
Well, if you guys want to take it together, I'll send you a link.
Yeah,
It's completely free, and all you have to do is plug in your email, and then you can unsubscribe to their stuff once you get the results. Beck, who are you?
Who am I?
Yeah.
Well, I'm a human. My name's Beck Call.
Next question.
Yeah. No, but man, I've never been asked this question. This is deep. I mean, I guess it could be or it couldn't be. Well, I'm a college student, bodybuilder, and an aspiring entrepreneur. I'll say that.
What's something that you wish people knew about you that they don't?
I wish people knew that I never, like, this might sound egotistical, but just hear me out. I wish people knew that I never, like, stopped working, if that makes sense. Like, I think if you see a lot of people, like, going back to social media, oh, they're going to the gym, they're recording their workout, and then they go home and lay on the couch for the rest of the day. I feel like that's kind of the perception of a lot of these types of people, and kind of, obviously I'm not famous or anything, but I do kind of live that type of lifestyle. I don't have a full-time job or anything. I'm in college. I film my workouts, but I wish people knew that it doesn't stop there, and I'm always like looking for the next best thing. And I think that might sound egotistical, but the reason that I wish people knew that isn't to like lift me up. I think it's kind of to lift everybody up in a way, because I think a lot of times you don't see what's like behind the scenes in someone's life, or like even like I was saying, like these people that might be like famous or whatever, you don't see like the whole story. You just see, what they click post on. And I feel like it's really important to like see people for more than that, because you just don't get their whole picture if you don't.
Why did that, well, you sort of answered that. Never mind.
Okay.
What's your earliest memory? You can go back as far back as you possibly can.
Man.
To whatever happens to come to mind.
So I will say, like I said, I'm an open book. I had an incident a few years ago happen to me where I lost a lot of my memory. Funny enough, I don't know if it's gone or if it's suppressed or whatever it might be, but I had an incident where I either overdosed or got laced or something with weed, and I went to the hospital. It was not a good situation. I had some lasting effects from that for a long time, and so a lot of my memories are kind of like not there before that. But I will say I do have some memories specifically, like, man, I want to say like 2015, and that would have put me at 10 years old. I don't really remember anything earlier, but I remember, I don't know why this is what's popping into my head, but I was at my grandparents' house on New Year's Eve, because my parents would usually send me and my little sister there on like New Year's Eve so they could go do their own thing and we could, you know, hang out with the grandparents for the night. And we were decorating, we like drew this little poster that just said 2015. So I guess it would have been 2014 going into 2015, New Year's Eve. That's the earliest thing that pops into my head.
In the moment, how that you went to the hospital, how does one know if they're potentially overdosing on weed versus just experiencing it? Because like that is, I will say, part of the reason I almost never smoke.
Yeah.
Because I always go into panic mode. I'm
Yeah.
an anxious high.
Yeah.
So I hate it. Because why would you invite anxiety?
Right. No, that
so
sounds
for you,
terrible.
what was something that either someone else noticed or you experienced where
Okay.
you were like, we got to go to the hospital?
Yeah. So essentially, there was one night where I smoked a lot and I had, I guess, an anxiety attack. I'd never experienced that before. You know, I felt like I was falling through my bed, couldn't fall asleep. My specific memory from that was I had this giant blanket on my bed. And, you know, blankets, they'll have like one end that's long, one end that's short. And you want the long ends on this way and the short ends here and here, like when you're sleeping. For the life of me, I couldn't find the short end and the long end. I spent probably 30 minutes like trying to find that. And that just like sent me spiraling. The next morning, I did fall asleep eventually. I woke up. I still felt the same. And
wow.
that for me was the moment I was like, oh shit, this isn't right. Because, you know, if you have a bad high or something, you can usually go to sleep. You'll feel better in the morning because it shouldn't last that long.
Yep.
The next day, felt the exact same. I went over to my friend's house. I was like, I can't be around my parents. I can't, you know, whatever. I was in high school at the time. It's like, I can't let this be like a whole thing. So I go to my friend's house. I basically crash on his couch for that day and maybe the next day. I think it was just that day though. And by that night, I still felt the exact same. His parents were like they knew what was going on. My parents did not. His parents were like, dude, you got to tell your parents, you got to do something. This, like, you're not okay. You know, some shit happened. And so then I went to the hospital and they essentially told me there wasn't anything they could do for me, which, you know, I guess makes sense. Like, what are you going to do? You know, they don't know what happened. They did a urine test to see, like, if I was laced with something or what the case was, but they never sent me the results. So I don't really know what happened. But it was a pretty bad experience.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
Oh man, it's okay. You know, you live and you learn. Like I said, no regrets. It fucking sucked really bad. But, you know, I wouldn't be who I am today without it. So
Outside of the memory loss, was there any other?
yeah. So are you familiar with depersonalization
No.
at all? It's essentially the feeling of like you don't feel like anything is real. So it's almost a high in the way of like you feel like out of your body in a sense, but you can't. For me personally, I couldn't feel my hands. Like I would look at my hands doing this. I couldn't feel them. I couldn't feel my mouth, couldn't feel my face. And I dealt with that for about 1.5 years.
Whoa.
After that experience. And it still happens to me from time to time, but I would say for the most part, I'm over it now. But yeah, that was a long-lasting effect from that. And that was the worst part because it lasted for so long. And it would cause issues to where like, oh shit, is my nose running? I don't know. If there's like snot on my face, I can't feel it. So it'd lead to me like doing this all the time. My fucking lips were all raw. My lips were really dry because I'd be licking them all day because I felt like they were dry, but I didn't know. I couldn't feel my lips. I always felt like I had food on my face, and man, it sucked.
And you were 15?
No, I would have been, I think, probably 17, maybe 16 when that happened.
Could you feel different textures? Like, could you feel like how water felt differently than like a cat's fur?
Yes, I could
Okay.
feel that, but I could feel temperature. So something that would kind of help me is I'd run my hands under like really hot water or really cold water to be like let me feel something, please. And so that would help a little bit. But it was just a sense of like not being able to feel detail on anything. Like if I pick this up, I could tell you this is, you know, aluminum or whatever, and it's cold, but everything felt like, let's say your hand's asleep, or you got like a numbing shot or something. Have you ever had that like before, like,
Yep.
I don't know, a
Yep.
little procedure or something?
Yep.
You know how it feels like, it almost feels like everything's swollen up.
Yes.
In a way, like, or you have thick gloves on. That's how everything felt. And that's the best way I can describe it, actually, for sure. Like, you have really thick gloves on, or you just got one of those numbing shots.
The only thing I can relate to this is a couple months ago, a friend of mine, or I got some smelling salts for me and my workout buddy. And he goes and takes a hit, and then I take a hit, and he's like, come on, that was nothing. Put your nose in there.
Oh, no.
So I go and take, like, not only did I put my nose a lot closer to the bottle, but I did a huge, and dude, my whole left face went just completely numb.
Do you think you had a stroke or something?
I don't think so.
Man.
I hope not.
Yeah.
And probably 2 minutes later, he says, did you know your eyes been watering since you took that hit?
Oh, man.
And I couldn't feel it. I didn't feel the water coming down my face. And that was the last time I took it.
Yeah, I've never tried smelling salts. I know some people use them.
I have some here if you want to try them.
Right now?
Sure.
Fuck it.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not going to stick my nose in it, but I'll give them a smell. Oh, man. I can never say no to an opportunity.
That might get you in trouble one day.
It might get me in trouble. I mean, if you told me, hey, let's take acid, I'm going to say no. But I'll try this. Oh, man.
I'm so excited.
Live on air. Oh, shit.
So yeah, just open it up, and when you take the cap off, just lift it like a little bit so
Okay.
it's getting exposed, and then put your nose however comfortable you are getting close to it, and just take a 1 second inhale.
The world's strongest smelling. Fuck, dude, where'd you get this?
The World Wide Web.
Oh, man.
A guy down the street.
Woo! Fuck. Whew. Oh, man, that does make your eyes water. Oh, shit.
Still congested or all cleared up?
All good now, man. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, you put your nose in that?
Yeah, I put like the tip of my nose like into the bottom, not
Hell
right
no.
like at the surface.
Hell
And
no. Yeah, you can take that back. Oh, man. You know, I can see why people might use that to get them fired up. But,
Yeah.
Wow.
I will use them again,
Yeah.
but very on special occasions.
Yeah, I did not know what to expect, honestly.
How was it?
It's interesting. It was nose opening, to say the least.
Yeah. Right
Wow.
on. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah,
That was
why
fun to
not?
watch.
Why not?
Well, to the best of your memory, then let's dive into your content creating days.
Let's do it.
Or should we start with pets? Because they probably didn't start at the exact
No,
same
they did
time,
not.
right?
Let's start with pets then.
Okay.
Yeah. So, growing up, I'll just give a brief backstory.
Yeah.
I grew up in Fort Worth, Texas, about 3 hours north of here or so. And I had a dog growing up, whatever, just a dog. Then, naturally, around the age of 5, I became really, really interested in reptiles. Just reading the books, looking online, any information I could get. I wanted it. I loved reptiles. So whenever I turned 5, I believe it was for Christmas. Don't quote me on that, but I got a lizard for Christmas, and that kind of started it all. Then I had just that lizard for a year, and then I turned 6, and I believe this one for sure was on Christmas. That's an earlier memory. There we go, man. I remember being 6, and on Christmas Day, I unwrap a package, and it's like one of those little plastic cages that's like this big. Like not something, I'd keep the snake in, but, for my parents to give it to me. And I got a snake, my first snake. And then after that, I started making YouTube videos when I was only 8, so about 2 years later, and I don't remember what animals I got in between 6 and 8, but I definitely got more, because I remember when I was 8, I already had a collection going of maybe 10 or 15 animals, and it just piled up from there. By the time I believe I was 13 or 14, I had around 30 animals that were all mine that I took care of every day.
Rattle off some of these animals. What were
Oh
they?
man, okay. Snakes, lizards, frogs, toads, scorpions, tarantulas, praying mantis. That's a cool one. Obviously, still dogs. I think that might be it, but several of each type. I'm sure you can imagine. I had, I believe, 7 snakes at the peak of my snake collection. I had one that was about 8 feet long. Her name was Lucy, or her name is Lucy. I don't currently have her, but I gave her to a pet shop owner who was going to have her. He had like a little zoo at his pet shop, like not for sale, just for people to look at. And so I donated a lot of my stuff there when I moved to college. But yeah, she was awesome. Big old snake.
We at my church of all places, growing up, we had a snake in the
Oh,
office.
nice.
And his name was Dukes, and I think he was a breed of python. I forget.
A
but
ball python, probably. A
yes,
small one.
brown and black.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yes.
And he was probably like maybe 6 feet,
6 feet.
maybe longer. I don't
Really?
remember.
That's
But
a
he
big
was a
ball
good
python.
size. But
Yeah.
I would get him out of the cage if I had a couple hours of office work to do. And what I would do is I'd pick him up and I'd go over to my chair and I would sit down and then I would just sort of move him so he could see my shoulder. And it would take him about 1 to 3 minutes to sort of figure out how he wanted to wrap himself
Yeah.
around me. And then I would just do my work.
That's awesome.
And he would not move. He would just sit there and we'd enjoy each other's
Man,
company.
man, I will say, having a snake like on your shoulders, it's stress relief, man. Like as long as you're not obviously afraid of it. But I remember when I had my big snake, Lucy, if I like needed to just chill out, I'd put her just over my shoulders, man, sit on the couch. It was relaxing. It was therapeutic.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool and a
Yeah.
really unique experience that I wish more people could experience because it's super cool.
How much time per day, if you had to guess, where do you spend just doing the bare minimum care for these animals?
Bare minimum, probably not the answer you want, but like 30 minutes.
Okay. So
Bare
pretty
minimum.
quick.
Bare minimum. That's not the time I took. That's the time if all you wanted to do was keep them alive and doing okay. I spent probably 4 to 5 hours after school every day because I'd get home from school, elementary school, middle school. I never really had any homework because the middle school I went to was not the best. It wasn't good education. It was one of the best times of my life. I loved it, but the education was not really there. So I never really had any homework or anything. So I'd get home, feed my animals, clean their enclosures if I needed to, film YouTube videos, and just kind of hang out with them. So a lot of time. But I loved it. I loved all of it.
Don't take this the wrong way.
I won't.
Did you have a lot of friends during that time?
There you go. And this is the answer you will expect. No, I did not. I did. I will say, at middle school, I did have a lot of friends. I was kind of friends with everyone, had a friend group, maybe 5 or 6 guys. And we were good friends, but after maybe 5th grade, I never really hung out with anyone outside of school. Still to this day. I'm a sophomore in college. I haven't hung out with anybody outside of school my entire time in college. It doesn't get me excited. I don't value that as much as a lot of people. And it might be a negative thing, it might not, but I mean, I live with my girlfriend. I have a lot of interaction with her, of course. I have social interaction at school. I have great friends in college. We work on assignments together, but I don't value like that social time usually. It's not something I go after or I seek out.
Do you feel good about your sense of community these days?
100%. I
Okay.
do. I'm very happy with it. It's not
Okay.
something where it's like, man, I wish I could go hang out with this person, or man, I wish we could go do something. No, I don't want it. I'm happy where I'm at. I think I would be less happy if I had that. And it's not like a commitment thing. I'm good with commitment. I love commitment. It's not something that makes me happy.
Well, note to self to never ask Beck to hang out. No, I'm kidding.
I like this. I like doing this. I like the podcast. I like specific things, but just the day-to-day stuff, normal, or not, I won't say normal. Most people usually do. I like going to get food, or I don't know, going, like, not in my situation, but going to the bar after work or whatever it might be. That stuff doesn't sound exciting to me.
We'll come back to pets. What do you do for fun? The gym doesn't count. You're not in gym.
Man.
You have no homework. Your day is wide open. You have 24 hours.
Yeah.
What do you do?
One thing pops up into my head, and that would be going for a hike. I love nature, obviously, with reptiles. As a kid, I would go out all the time looking for reptiles and stuff. I wouldn't keep them. You know, I would buy the ones from, like, breeders and stuff that I would own. But just, I love nature, and I love hiking, and I love everything outside. So if I have a fully free day, can't go to the gym, no homework, I'm going for a hike.
All right.
Yeah, sure.
If you ever want to go on a hike and girlfriend's working or something, I love doing that too.
My girlfriend hates hikes.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so
It's
I'm
actually funny. One of my friend's cousins really likes sushi, but no one in his family does, including his girlfriend.
Oh,
and so
man.
we barely know each other. We've only met twice, but the last time we hung out and we found this out, he was like, "You want to go to sushi and play chess sometime?"
Nice.
And I was like, "I'd love
Dude,
to."
I love chess. I was actually, we might get into this, but I bounced around to several middle schools, and at one of them that I was at, I was actually in a chess club, and I love chess. I haven't played in a long time. I've played, like, online, but I like chess.
Did you watch The Queen's Gambit?
No, I'm not, like, in that community at all, but I love playing chess.
In the community of people that watch good TV?
No, I guess not. I guess not then.
What community are you talking about?
The chess community.
Okay.
Is that a TV show?
Yes.
Oh, fuck, man. Yeah.
I'm not laughing at you.
No, that's okay. I don't really watch much TV either, so go figure that.
I figured as much. It came out during COVID, and I think that's partly why it got so popular, is because we all thought the world was going to end,
right?
And we had nothing to do because we were all unemployed.
Yeah.
But it's a show essentially about a girl who goes from being in an orphanage because her dad disappeared and their mom killed herself, so she's in this orphanage, and the maintenance guy teaches her how to play chess, and she becomes, throughout the show, she becomes the world's top ranked chess player. She goes to Russia. She competes against the biggest, baddest chess player in the world. And her story is just, it's one of my favorite shows.
Okay. I'll keep it in mind.
Sort of just spoiled the ending for you, but
oh yeah, don't do that.
There's a lot in the middle that is very fun.
Yeah. Okay.
What are some unknown or surprising facts about frogs, snakes, scorpions, and spiders that you think it could be interesting?
Man, I feel like there's a million facts that I could just ramble off like a freaking nerd, but I'll say, like, I don't want to say there's no reason to be afraid, because obviously there's, venomous snakes and stuff that could kill you, but I think to the level that a lot of people are afraid of them, the main thing that's making them afraid is lack of knowledge or lack of experience, because I can almost guarantee you, if anyone that's afraid of snakes or any of these animals that they might be afraid of, if they spent time with them and they learned about them, they would not be afraid. And I have experience, like, I guess, converting people to liking snakes. Obviously. I mean, how could I not? I owned a bunch of them. Everyone would come over. Oh, my God, that's so scary. Hour later, they'd be holding it, having the time of their life. Yeah. I think that's probably the biggest one. Just there's not no reason to be afraid, but less reason to be afraid.
Is there any reason to be afraid of tarantulas?
Not more than anything else, to be honest.
Because they're not poisonous, right?
Well, actually, technically, all of them are venomous. But, like, bees are venomous.
Right.
So some of them, yeah, it could fucking suck if they bit you. But most of them, no. Like, the ones that are here in Texas, no. It would hurt, but the actual like potency of them is comparable to like just a normal bee sting. It would hurt more because they do have like fangs.
Yeah.
But no.
Me and Thad have been walking the woods around this place
Yeah.
for 3 years, and about 2 months ago, I ran in my first tarantula.
Oh, nice.
And I'm not going to lie to you, man. Every time I walk by the place where we saw it,
Yeah.
I sometimes, to this day, still get chills up and down my spine.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. It's more of just like an innate response because it like looks scary, but like the actual like threat that you might perceive isn't real. You know what I mean? So like, yes, it looks scary and it could hurt, but the way I view it is like, yeah, that could hurt, but it's not going to kill me, or it's not going to like, I don't know. Like I'll go out right now and if I find a tarantula, I'll pick it up. Like it doesn't.
You're nuts.
Yeah, I might be. Just a few weeks ago, I went for a hike and I was, like catching scorpions and stuff. It doesn't, like, the same thing with the scorpions that are like around this area. None of them are actually like dangerous.
Well, I think part of my reservation is if we were hiking and we're an hour into whatever the path is and we see a tarantula,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
I think what was disconcerting about this for me is how close it is to my home.
Right. I understand you don't want them running around your house.
No.
Yeah, I get that. I don't either. I like tarantulas. I'd like to have one in a cage, but I don't want to wake up with it on my face or anything like that.
No.
I have put them on my face before. But I don't want to wake up to that. No.
What was the first time you got hired or asked to show up at some sort of event and bring your crew with you?
Man, I don't remember because this was pre-incident.
Right.
I don't remember the first time, but from what I do remember, people would ask me, like, I don't want to say frequently, but like I got asked, like, oh, this would be so cool, like if you could bring these to a birthday party or whatever. And then kind of my entrepreneurialness kicked in and I was like, shit, I could make money off this, why not? And I like doing it. I still, I guess, am a wealth of knowledge for like about these animals and stuff. And so I mean, I charge like $100 because I didn't know that I could charge more than that at the time. And now I look at it and these big companies that do like parties and stuff like this charge like thousands of dollars. But yeah, I would charge $100, go out there, bring, however many animals they requested, and just kind of, I'd set up a table. My mom made me like a custom tablecloth with my logo on it. And I'd just like kind of bring them out, teach the kids about them, walk around and let them pet the animals and stuff. Yeah, it'd be a good time. But I remember the first time that I did it, from my memory, which might not be the best, was actually at one of my middle schools that I went to. I was kind of close with one of the teachers there, and I ended up convincing her to get a lizard for the class pet. And so we got that. And then she was like, man, lizards are actually kind of cool. And then we got into a time of the year when we were learning about reptiles in school. It might not have been specifically to that, but I was like, I think I brought up, hey, I could like bring some of these and teach the class about it. And they let me. There's actually a YouTube video of that on my YouTube channel from several years ago, of me presenting like to my middle school class, and I brought a bunch of animals up there. So that was the first time. Obviously that wasn't paid or anything, but that was the first time I can remember doing something like that. I definitely did bring animals to my elementary school, but it wasn't like a large scale thing. Like I would bring a lizard one day to show everybody, but I never did like a big presentation until then, from what I can remember.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I promise I'm not bouncing around. I'm just trying to paint a picture of who this man is sitting across from me. Chess club. Did you just, your parents like gave you a chessboard and you fell in love with it from game one? Tell us that, how.
No, so I don't want to paint this to be bigger than it was, because it's not like this huge part of my life, like I was obsessed with chess or something. But it was the same middle school where I did that presentation. Somebody started a chess club, and honestly, I think they might have like forced all the kids to learn chess. This was a very brief stint in my life where I went to a private school, and so it was very what you would think private school, like a bunch of rich kids playing chess. That's literally kind of how it felt. And it was safe to say I did not fit in there. I was in the principal's office like multiple times a week.
Why?
For some bullshit. Literally bullshit. It was nothing. Like I remember a specific time actually in chess club that stood out to me because I believe even my mom came there to get me from the principal's office, and she was like, "This is bullshit." Like usually my mom would like don't do this or whatever, like punish me for stuff. But I remember, I think this time she was like, "This is bullshit." I was playing chess, and I was in chess club with one of my friends who was a black girl, and it's important to this story. I'm not just throwing that out there. But we were playing, and I'm like, all I said, it was an observation. I go, "Man, chess is racist. The white piece always goes first." And then they sent me to the principal's office. And I wasn't even like screaming that to the class. I literally just said that to my friend. And I think she brought it up first. But no, yeah. Always there. But somebody started a chess club. I think they might have made everyone like try it out or something. And I really liked it. So I did chess club. We never like competed or anything like that. Like I said, I was not at that school for long. But I really enjoyed it. I got my own chess set. Played with like family members that knew how to play and my friends at school. And yeah, I'd love to get back into it, honestly. I was actually talking to my girlfriend about this a few weeks ago. I was like, if I buy a chess set, will you play? Because I think she like kind of knows how to play, but like not really. So
I'd play chess with you.
yeah, I'm down, dude. I love chess. It's been a long time, so I'm gonna lose, but it's fun.
We might be evenly bad.
Oh yeah.
And you might win.
Oh, well, we'll see.
We'll see.
It's fun. That's what matters.
Why'd you bounce around so many middle schools?
So I wouldn't say it was really so many middle schools. I think it was actually only 2, but in the moment it felt like I was bouncing around because in 5th grade, I actually have zero memory of this. And even before the weed incident, I had zero memory of this. But apparently, because this is what my mom tells me, in 5th grade, I got jumped at school, apparently. And so she took me out of that school because, I mean, that's a good reason to take your kid out of a school.
Yes, it is.
And it wasn't a bad elementary school. I mean, it was a great elementary school. It was a public elementary school, but it was a great school. And yeah, I was there till 5th grade. Also, I don't remember this, but apparently I got bullied a lot. And so then that happened, and my parents were like, hell no, like, we got to go. So after that, I left, and I was homeschooled for like less than a year, like just to kind of finish out that year whenever I left. And then, you know, after 5th grade, it was time for middle school. And I think I had like gone and tried out certain middle schools. They would like let you go for a day to see if you like it. And there was this one, the private one I'm talking about. It was like a Montessori school. And apparently I had went to one of those for like pre-K. And my parents thought that it would be a good fit for me. And I think I went there and I really liked it because I didn't know what I was getting into. And so I was like, yeah, let's go here. So I went there, and man, I had some great friends there and I had some great times there, but that school was not for me. So I leave this middle school. This is really funny because I leave this like, you know, like probably 95% white, rich, private school. And I go to like the worst middle school in my city. The worst. I don't know, like statistically speaking, but that's kind of how it's viewed there. And I go to this middle school where it's like there was 1 or 2 other white people in my grade, which that's not what makes it bad, obviously. But the grades were bad. The teaching was bad. All this stuff was terrible. But I had the time of my life there. I loved that school. I met some of my best friends there, some of them that I still have to this day. And everybody there, like, spoke Spanish. So everyone spoke Spanish, and I learned a lot of Spanish. I was like nearly fluent by the time I left that school. So you might look at it from a broad picture and be like, he went to this shitty school, he didn't learn anything. Man, I learned another language. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I learned another language. I learned great life lessons from these people. Yeah, it might not have been the best, like, you know, like public education, but I'm in college now. I made it here, you know? I learned some good stuff there, and I love that school. And I think that, like, from the outside, it might look like on paper that was probably a shitty time because it was, like, a really bad school, but I loved it, man. I think that was a great formative experience for me and made me to who I am today. 100%.
That year probably dramatically changed the trajectory of your life.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely did. It definitely did. Because I went from literally like a private school to like this shitty public school that like I didn't learn anything in class there. Like the teachers sucked, man. I remember this one art class I had. The kids at that school were so bad. This teacher would literally cry in class almost every day in my art class because kids would like throw shit at her, just be yelling, and yeah. So that was my middle school, but I wouldn't change a thing because I loved it.
I wonder if everyone had that teacher. I remember my freshman year of high school,
Yeah.
I had an English teacher named Mrs. Whittington, and she cried so much.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm not saying like it's a bad thing, but
Yeah.
I remember I was just always thinking like, I know we're little shits, but like she seems like she's sad about more than just
Yeah.
what's going on in this classroom.
Yeah, it was probably that. She didn't seem like the teacher I'm talking about didn't seem like she had all her ducks in a row at all. So
You want a Diet Coke, or are you chilling right now?
I'm good.
Okay.
I still got a little bit of this left.
So at what point did your YouTube videos you started to realize that this went from Beck's just doing something for fun to like, this thing's growing?
Yeah. Honestly, probably, man, I'm bad with the memory stuff, but probably around the time that I went to that private school. So it would have been 6th grade, because I went to that school for 6th grade, and then I think 7th and 8th I went to that shitty public school. But I would say around that time, because I met my friend who, you know, eventually kind of fucked me over in the end, which we'll get into. But I met him there. We were best friends at that private school. And I remember growing because I basically, like, asked him to be, like, my cameraman. I was like, dude, like, I want to, like, lock this shit down. I want to get videos out this day, this day, this day. I want to stick to this schedule. You know, I want to do, like, this variety of videos. Like, I had it planned. It wasn't just all, like, crazy anymore. Like, oh, I'm going to pick up the camera and just film some bullshit. Like, it was like, okay, let's try to turn this into a business, because I always wanted to do that, like, for a job. Because, like, you know, I'm a little kid growing up watching YouTube. I'm like, man, these people are, you know, it's got 1 million subscribers. It's probably living a good life. And so I probably hit like a couple thousand subscribers by that time, but the numbers and the views were like really going up. And I was like, okay, like I want to try to hammer this down, and like I could really actually make this a career now, because everything's going in the right direction. And so I got that guy to be my cameraman. We'd film. I don't remember the days that we would film, but it was videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for like at least a year before, you know, he kind of fucked me over. But in that 1 year, I'd been doing YouTube, I guess, at the time for like, I don't know, like 7 years or something like that. But in that 1 year, I had like 95% of my growth, because like I was saying in the beginning of the podcast, you might ride that flat line, but eventually, you know, it's going to go up.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the year that happened for me. And so in that 1 year, everything went up. I had a couple videos that did really good. Got hundreds of thousands of views. One of them got 1 million views. Yeah, that's when I realized.
To your knowledge, and if you don't know this, it's fine, because it's odd. It's a random question.
Okay.
Do you know if there's a lot of like 10 to 14-year-olds who are trying right now to like make relatively serious YouTube channels? Do you ever just like randomly come across that? I never see it.
I don't. And that, another thing that definitely led to my success was the reptile like community was so niche. It was so niche. And at the time when I was really getting into it, there was like two big creators, maybe 3, but I can really only think of one. His name was Brian Barczyk. He was like my idol as a kid. He did daily vlogs. He did all this stuff. I watched him every day. I met him several times at like reptile conventions. He was, man, he passed away, I think last year. He he had cancer, and that was very sad, to say the least, because he was like my biggest idol, and there was only a couple of those big people in that community. It was so niche. So I was coming in, and they're looking, if you're looking for YouTube videos, reptile YouTube videos. Okay, let's look. There's this old guy. Here's this girl. There's this little kid. What the fuck? Let me see this little kid. Not in a weird way.
Beck.
Yeah. Let's click on this video. Oh shit, he knows what he's talking about, and like his videos are good quality. Because I bought a camera, I had microphones, like I was doing the thing, and so I think that's what led to my success, because there wasn't that many options. I got into it very early, and now it's like I'll even go and like look up reptile stuff on YouTube sometimes, just because I am still interested. It's not like my main thing anymore, but it interests me, and there's so many people now. But whenever I was getting into it, I was like right on the cusp of it, just getting started, and I kind of hit that at the right time for it to take off, honestly.
So you were born in 2005.
Yes.
What was your pause on that question? What did you watch on YouTube? You said you made this sentence earlier. You grew up watching YouTube. What interested you outside of reptiles?
I will say it was probably 95% reptile videos, even from a young age. Funny enough, I'll throw this in there just really quick. I don't want to get super deep into it because there's not a lot to talk about. But my uncle, whenever he was a kid, he had a bunch of reptiles. And so whenever I was a kid, my parents, or especially my mom, was like, hell no, I don't want my kid getting into that. Like snakes, that's scary. Naturally, I came to it. Around the age of like 5, as I mentioned earlier, I got super into reptiles. And my mom was like, well, there's nothing we can do now. Let's tell him about his uncle. So they kind of hid that from me until I came to it naturally, funny enough. So I don't know if that's like a genetic thing or if it would just happen to be. But when my uncle was a kid, he had a bunch of snakes and lizards, same thing. And my mom tried to like hide that from me so I wouldn't get into it, because she's afraid of snakes. Not really anymore, because I converted her, but she was afraid of snakes. I don't want my kid getting snakes. And then I just came to it naturally. And then they told me about my uncle, and I was like, you haven't told me about Uncle Matt? What the fuck? And I knew Uncle Matt. I knew him, but they never told me about that one part about him.
Do you think your mom told Uncle Matt, to not tell you anything?
100%, for sure. My whole family gets along great, so there's no like weird dynamic or anything, but she probably did. Probably. Because as I was starting to get into it, I still never heard about Uncle Matt's reptile collection until I was like too far gone in their eyes, probably. To the point where it's like, okay, he's pretty interested. We can't stop him now.
That's a good story, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad you went off on that little tangent.
Yeah. Where were we? What was I talking about?
I'll get us back on track.
Okay.
Before I do, you have mentioned your mom several times, but you haven't mentioned your dad. Was he in the picture growing up?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. I come from a great family. I have both my parents. They're married. Yeah, I love them. My parents did work like a lot growing up, but they were definitely both in the picture. My dad's a firefighter. So, a lot of hours for that job, of course. And my mom is a professor. And so she's not just a professor, though. Whenever I was growing up, she was actually getting a PhD. So my grandma took care of me a lot growing up, but they were definitely in the picture.
What did your mom profess about?
Psychology and child development.
Oh, can we get her on the show?
Yeah, she would be. She's been on podcasts, man. She's a real deal.
Oh, she's
My mom's
not a
a
first timer.
badass.
I'm not interested.
Yeah.
No, I'm not kidding. No, in all seriousness, I'd love to if you introduced her, and yeah,
I could.
that'd be cool.
Yeah, my mom's awesome.
I just had a firefighter on last week too.
I
which
saw
is
that.
Ironic.
Yeah. My dad. He's been doing it for a long time, man, and he's still not retired. He loves it. Loves it. I think he's been eligible to retire for like years now, but he just likes it.
Yeah.
So
Need something to do, probably.
Yeah.
We all do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you have siblings?
I have a little sister.
Little sister.
Yes.
Were you guys raised religious at all?
No.
How do you think your parents, how would you describe what like values or morals would they instill, and how would they try to do it?
Definitely no religion. It wasn't like this thing of don't be religious. Obviously not. But it was more of like, I think what it was my mom being a child development like specialist. She doesn't want to like kind of put anything onto me. So it's not like, okay, you're going to be a Christian or you're going to be this. So she kind of raised me to like find my own path, I guess, which I very much value. I think that's great. But the morals I was raised on would be like, honestly, I would say the main thing that like just popped into my head when you say that was like, be kind. My mom repeats that a lot. She has a tattoo that says that, or it just says be, but that's one of the meanings behind it. And I would say the morals were almost all probably centered around like being a good person. None of the morals were like, I don't ever remember anyone telling me you have to be super disciplined or you have to work super hard. It was more of be a good person.
Do you think some of your discipline that you got sort of subconsciously by just observing them?
Definitely, because my parents are both very hard workers, and especially my dad is very disciplined. He's super fit. He's into the gym and eating super healthy and all of that. I think I got a lot of my discipline from my dad subconsciously, for sure, because I have a lot of discipline. It didn't come from nowhere. Yeah. But while they didn't like directly say that, I think they kind of more showed me that, which I like. I think my childhood was great.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the areas I feel like you're very disciplined is your eating. That's a weakness for me.
Like, oh yeah, that's a weakness for most people.
I'm pretty good for the most part. I'm not like eating Taco Bell for breakfast and pizza for dinner, but I'm a busy person.
Yeah.
And later, towards the end of the episode, I want to talk to you about some of your non-negotiables in life. But like for me, food isn't one of them. So if I need a convenience meal, I'll run to HEB, get one of their pre-prepared meals, throw it in the oven. They're loaded with butter. Yeah. And so I know they're probably not like the best food to eat, but it's also like, well, this is what I have time for today. Yeah. So this is what I'm going to do.
That's something I kind of like. I think I've even said it on a recent reel before, or actually I think it was, I'm trying to get back into YouTube, so I posted my first YouTube video last week.
I watched it.
Yeah. Yep. I think I mentioned in there that, like, while I'm talking about this stuff, like, not everybody can do this. Right. Or not everybody. Like, I'll acknowledge it. I'm very, like, privileged in the fact that I can eat on this meal plan. And obviously not everyone has the time. Or, some people, they might not have the money or whatever it might be. So, yeah. No, I totally get that. I'm very lucky to be able to do this.
Lucky and a hard worker too. It's not all luck.
Yeah.
So you're creating this YouTube page. You have a cameraman. You guys are getting anywhere from 6 to 7 K views on these videos, and at some point things start to take a turn for the worse.
Yeah. I wouldn't say at some point. I would say on one specific day and time. It was not slow. It just happened. It happened. Yeah. So my cameraman, his name's Justin. Fuck him, but I'm going to, Justin Sawyer. I'll say it. I have no shame, man. Fuck that guy. Fuck him. But yeah, I still hold a grudge to this day. But yeah, no regrets though. No regrets.
Here's why I answered 2 on how often do you feel angry. You bring up Justin Sawyer.
Oh my God, motherfucker. So yeah, one day, I don't even remember specifically like how I noticed, but somehow I noticed that all of my biggest videos were gone. Just deleted, gone. They weren't there. So I'm like, okay, that's a problem. I did not do that. The only other person that has my login info is him because, he was my best friend. We did everything together. He'd sleep over all the time. We'd film. He was literally my best friend. And so I'm like, oh, shit. Well, I don't think he would do this. Like, it couldn't have been him. So I asked him about it. I called him or texted him or whatever. And I'm like, hey, did you delete my videos? Like, you wouldn't do that. He's like, no, I didn't. And so I'm like, man, that's fucking crazy because I got a Google login notification right when they were deleted. And it says the IP address of where somebody logged in. And I put that into a tracker. Keep in mind, I was like 14 or something, and I was figuring out how to do all this shit because I was pissed. I put that into a tracker on his house. The tracker's on his house. So he deleted my videos. I mean, clear as day. I literally have a geographical location from where somebody deleted the videos. So it was either him or his mom, because there was no one else there. And his mom was like 60 and like not capable of doing that respectfully. So he deleted them. And so I called him out on his bullshit. I'm like, what the fuck? Why? Like, can you get them back? What happened? And he just denied, and I cut him off instantly. And I haven't spoke to him to this day. I blocked him on everything. I was like, nope, I'm not even entertaining this.
How'd you feel in that moment?
I felt very betrayed, man, because he was my best friend. He'd never done anything to, like, wrong me in any ways. And in his head, it probably wasn't as serious as it was in my head. Like, in his head, he was like, oh, I'm going to fuck with him and delete these videos. But in my head, well, there goes my whole business. There goes my algorithm getting all these views. And after that, I kept posting because I was driven. They just didn't do the same. And so I got burnt out. And I just felt so betrayed because, like, man, that was my best friend and my, like, business partner. And he just ruined it. Like, ruined it.
Do you think this plays into why you don't feel the need to invite more people into your life than you already do at all?
That's a good point. Maybe. It could be. It could be. You know, I'm open to the fact that, like, of course, like, you know, past, like, traumatic experiences and stuff can shape who you are. And that all plays into it. And I think that probably is a factor. Yeah, definitely could be.
The day we met, and you, whatever you say, you won't offend me.
Yeah.
Did you feel like any walls came up? Like, in your head, were you like, why does this guy, what does he get out of this? Why is this random dude inviting me? Did you have any defense mechanisms that fired up?
No, I don't have, like, something that just pops into my head like that. I'm like, I kind of lead in, like, a positive light now, like, and I don't think I really ever wasn't like that. Like, I feel like, you know, I don't want to say stuff hasn't affected me long term, but I don't feel it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I don't, and I look for the signs that it could be, like you're saying, like walls coming up or anything like that, and the signs just aren't there. But no, I didn't feel that way at all. I think I was like, man, that's so cool. It's a good opportunity. Now let me look and make sure it's legit. But,
yeah, of course.
But I'm not immediately like, what the fuck? Like, what does he want? I was not like that. I look at everything like at its face value, and you're like, okay, do you want to be on a podcast? And I'm like, yeah. So that's where I leave it. And then later, when I'm like looking into it, then, you know, if something looks fishy, then it looks fishy. But nothing did, so.
Yeah, I hope everyone looks up the podcast.
Yeah.
I have wondered how many, for every 30 invites I send out on Instagram, probably about 5 people respond.
Yeah.
And I wonder if the other 25 people simply think it's a scam, and they never go over to the Instagram page where they can clearly see, like, oh, this is very real.
Right. I think one of my core, like, qualities is, like, using logic.
Yes.
Almost.
Good.
I think that's, well, I know.
Seems like it should go without saying.
It seems like that. It does seem like that. But I see all the time people, like, will just say something, and I'm like, hold up. Why are you saying that? Like, I'm not even thinking of anything in particular. Sure. But, like, I feel like people don't use logic. And, like, I feel like a lot of people also say that. They're like, people need to use more logic. Like, seriously, man, like, I feel like that's a quality I have that's really good. Like, like I was saying, like, you asked me to be on the podcast. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, like, logically, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing fishy about that yet. Like, let me look and see if there is. But immediately, there's nothing like that.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Why did Justin ever try to reach out to you even though you cut him off?
I think initially he might have, yeah, because we were really tight, man. Like, I was at his house every day, or he was at my house every day. Every weekend, you know, we'd spend the whole weekend sleeping at each other's houses, playing video games, shooting YouTube videos, whatever. And so we were really close-knit for it to be cut off that abruptly. But in my mind, I had no problem with that, because fuck you, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, no, I'm not dealing with that anymore. I think he did, and I don't really remember the details of that. I will say I think he did initially, but that's really all I can say. Probably tried to call me from his mom's phone or something. But I can imagine if he did that, I would have just hung up.
It's hard to. I'm going to ask you a question that's hard to answer because we can't take hypothetically and really answer in reality.
Yeah.
But let's say he had owned up to it.
Yeah.
And explained to you why. Do you think he would have been open to listening to that?
I think I would have been open to listening to it for sure. I think I still would have cut him off though.
Why?
Because he completely fucked me over. And if there's any chance of that ever happening again, I don't want it. And I think that hurt me so bad that I can't go on with it. You know what I mean? Like every time I hang out with him, I'll be like, yeah, you're my boy, but you kind of ruined my business.
Yeah.
Like I would have definitely listened to him, and I would have maybe even forgiven him, but I would not have continued with our relationship how it was going.
Yeah.
Definitely not. But I think it would have been very commendable of him to own up to it. But I still would have not talked to him ever again.
Yeah. So then you burnt out, and essentially you essentially shut that page down at some point, right?
Yeah. I never deleted it or anything, but I was MIA.
When you graduated high school, did you have any idea what you wanted to do with your life? It's this big question where we're 18 years old
Yes.
and we now have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people don't, and that's completely normal and completely fine. But I always have. I've always felt like a purpose, and it changes a lot. It's never been the same for long. But yeah, 100%. When I graduated high school, I mean, I didn't have it all written out,
Right.
but in my head, I'm like, okay, I want to go to college, get a decent paying finance job out of college, or something in business, whatever I can get through an internship or whatever. And then I want to make money and try to get into real estate investment. And that was my plan. And that still kind of is. But I'm more open to other things now. But yeah, I had that plan from when I graduated high school.
Is there an underlying theme to your purpose?
Success.
Why?
I want to be very successful.
Why?
Because it would make me happy. And whenever I have success, it makes me happy. And so I guess the bigger goal that you're making me realize now is happiness, which should be everyone's goal, I think. But you got to do something to get happy. Or maybe not, but I do.
Did you have, between the animal page and your fitness more themed pages now, was there one that I'm forgetting that you mentioned on the phone?
There was.
What was that one?
And it was actually my most lucrative time in my life. So during COVID, I was very into playing Fortnite. Okay? And you're familiar with Fortnite?
Just in case there's someone listening who isn't,
Yes.
give us like a breakdown.
Okay. For all intents and purposes of this, all you need to know is it's a video game where people play against each other, and at the end there will be one winner. There's about 100 people in a game. I don't know how it is now. I haven't played in years. But I got really into playing Fortnite. I got really good at playing Fortnite. Really good at playing Fortnite. I did tournaments. I won some money at like some local tournaments, and I was like, shit, I'm pretty good. But then I was like, I'm not that good though. Like I'm good enough to like win some tournaments here, but I'm not good enough to be the best in the world. So how can I make this journey better? Because realistically, I'm not going to be the best in the world. And I realized that. I was like, I'm pretty good. I've won some money. I'm good, but I'm not great. And so I was like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? I was bored as shit. It was COVID,
Yeah.
I'm at home doing online school. I'll put that in quotes because I didn't do shit. But, I was enrolled in school, we'll say. So I started making TikTok videos about Fortnite and YouTube videos about Fortnite on that same YouTube channel that I had gone MIA on. Initially, the response was kind of weird because it was like, what about the snakes? What about the snakes? But I wanted to keep it very genuine. And so when I look back on my YouTube channel now, or when I look back at it in 20 years from now, I want to see, this is the journey of my life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I can look, oh, He did I did bodybuilding. I did gaming. I did reptiles. I like that I keep it all on one page. And so I started making those YouTube videos and those TikToks. The YouTube videos did fine. Not great, just because of the drastic switch in content. And I wasn't really trying that hard on YouTube. I was just like, I'll just post a video when I feel like it. But on TikTok, I blew the fuck up. And I didn't actually blow up because I was good at the game. I blew up because I helped other people be good at the game. I helped them like optimize their computers to make their game run better, essentially. I won't get into it really deep because it gets technical. But personally, whenever I was playing the game, I was like, man, my computer sucks. How can I make this better? I don't have any money to get a new computer. So I tried to figure out stuff that I can do to make it better, essentially, because I don't have money to go buy a new computer. I want to make it better. And so I made TikTok videos helping other people do that. And in Fortnite, there's something called a support a creator code. My code was my name, and if people used that whenever they made a purchase on the game, I got some of that money. You know, Fortnite took most of it, but I got a little bit of like commission because I brought them to it, essentially. I made a lot of money on that. Like, in like the year that I did it, at being like 15, 16 years old, I made like over $10,000, which was a lot of money for that age. And I eventually quit just because I got burnt out, and I was like, I got into bodybuilding, but I made a lot of money doing that, and the videos got a lot of views. Like at my peak for a few months before I quit, every video was literally 1 million views on TikTok. And I still have the account. I can pull it up. Like, and I had like 85,000 followers too on the TikTok. It has like, I think it still has like 40,000, but a lot of people have unfollowed because I haven't posted in 4 years or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was my little stepping grounds in between reptiles and bodybuilding. All very different things, but it's just kind of whatever I'm interested in, I go all in, and I try to make something out of it. So,
do you think you got burnt out, or do you think you just more so got into bodybuilding?
I think I got burnt out. I do think I got burnt out because I was like grinding, because at the time I was trying to, I was making good money from the content side of things, but I also wanted to be like a pro player if I could be. I kind of realized I probably wouldn't be the best, but I was like, this is fun. I really like it. I want to try to be even better. And so I would literally, like during COVID, spend the entire day playing the game and take a break every few hours only to make a TikTok, like the entire day playing it, like 12 hours a day, probably at least. And so I got burnt out from that, and I just didn't want to play the game or have anything to do with it anymore. And as a kid, I actually did Taekwondo for 9 years. And I know I got a lot of different things going on. We don't need to get into that. All you need to know is I did Taekwondo for 9 years. During COVID, the gym shut down because it was a pandemic. And so I got kind of fat sitting around playing video games all day, as one does. And so my parents were like, okay, whenever the Taekwondo gym opened back up, they're like, you got to go back to Taekwondo, because I was not healthy. Or like, you got to go to Taekwondo. And I was like, I don't want to go back to Taekwondo, because I got burnt out on that too from doing it for so long. I don't want to go back to Taekwondo. Give me another option. My dad said, I'll take you to the gym. And that's how I got into bodybuilding.
So dad's to blame for all this.
Dad is to blame for all this.
Before we get into the bodybuilding side of things, what does a 15-year-old do with $10,000?
If my girlfriend watches this, she's not gonna like it, but I spent all the money on her.
Aw.
Yeah. And so like, was it like not the most responsible thing? Yeah, it wasn't the most responsible thing, but like, it is what it is. I was in love, and I still am. But yeah, so I would take her shopping all the time, buy food, and like $10,000, yes, it's a lot of money, but it'll go fast as shit if you're shopping and buying food every day.
Yeah.
And so it went. It left. And yeah, by the time it was gone, I had already stopped like doing that content stuff. So there wasn't much coming in anymore, maybe a couple $100 a month. But yeah, I blew it all. Now though, I'm very responsible with money actually because of that experience.
Where'd you learn your financial knowledge?
Man, honestly, I just came to it myself because of that. Like my parents my mom always says that she's really bad with money. I don't think they're as bad as with money as they say they are. Like I don't see it, but I will say I don't think it was from my parents. I think I just kind of came into it on my own because I was like, well, shit, I need money. How can I get money? How can I keep money? How can I grow said money? How can I, you know what I mean? Without going and getting a full-time job because I'm 15, you know, and I'm in school. And I did work. I actually started working at 14. But, you know, I can't just work. So what else am I going to do for money? And so that's why I had these things online making money, and I blew all that money that I made. And then I was like, okay, well, I never want to lose another dollar because I realized what I had done. And I was like, man, for 15, I was making a lot of fucking money and now it's gone. I don't ever want that to happen again.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just like, I guess, did my own research and, you know, learned about like how to save money, you know, how to like budget and stuff. And a lot of it I haven't like learned from like actual like, you know, websites or people or anything. I've just kind of figured it out on my own. I don't think I'm the best, but like I would say I'm pretty good.
And you seem like you don't spend a lot of money on like flashy stuff. Like your jeans don't look like they're name brand. Your shoes look like they're just standard shoes.
My jeans are actually from this company called Uniqlo. It's, man, I love that company. They sell like, and this shirt is too. Shout out Uniqlo. But it's like this Chinese brand that is like really cheap, but it's surprisingly good quality. So I like that stuff, man. I think the jeans were like maybe $40 or something. Good jeans though. Yeah. I actually literally, for like the most part, 99% of the time, I don't buy anything besides food or supplements or gas. Yeah. Or like besides the literal necessities, I don't spend money on anything besides I do have a weekly cheat meal, and I will allow myself to like, I mean, I'm not spending $200 on it, but like I'll get something I want.
Yeah.
But that's my one thing that I do spend money on. I do work. I work a part-time job, and I invest as much as that as I can every time I get paid. So, because I'm like, now I don't have a lot of expenses. Parents are paying for college. You know, I don't have a lot of expenses that I have to buy. You know, I got to buy food. I got to buy a couple other things, but it's not a lot. So, and I'm making more than I have to spend. So I might as well save it now while I can. Because whenever I get out of college, I'm in the real world. Like, not everything's going to be covered.
Yeah.
And so I try to be as smart as I can with like making a plan. Planning ahead always works better than if you don't, usually.
We do have some similarities.
Yeah,
My one place I have I wouldn't even call it a weakness, but that I spend money on is this.
Yeah, dude, your passion. Okay, that's another thing. I 100%, I don't have to spend a lot of money on my passions besides like food and supplements because my passion's bodybuilding. But I say pour your money into that. If like, not all of it, but you know, you want to have a podcast. No one's going to watch it if the audio sounds like shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So 100%, you got to invest into yourself.
Before I ask you this next question, this is the perfect time, if the audience is wondering, which I'm sure you're not, maybe you are, what is he spending all this money on? We are doing our first event in front of a live audience on Saturday, February 28th at 1 p.m. If you scroll down in the show notes, there will be a website. So if you live in Austin, space will be limited. I think we're going to cap it either 80 or 100 people. I'm not sure yet. I have a few surprises, one of which I just locked in today. So it's not just going to be me and my guest yapping for 2 hours. There's going to be a few surprises for you guys. So please come out, be part of the show. It's going to be super fun. I don't know when we're going to do this again, so don't miss out on this opportunity. It's not going to be expensive to come, so go check out the website, look at the facts page, and join us for a really fun afternoon. Really looking forward to that.
That'll be cool.
That'll be cool. So I have a friend
Okay.
named Austin. He won't mind me saying this. He'll say it out loud himself. He looks at me. I just helped him move this weekend.
Okay.
At one point, I like take off my shirt. I have a tank top on, and he's like, "Damn, dude! Like, I wish I could get bigger arms. I wish I could like sort of start to look like you, but I just hate the gym. I go in there. I'm bored. I have no interest in being there." And I don't understand this because to me, it's my
Yeah.
fun time. It's
Yeah.
like my play time.
Dude, 100%.
What was your initial reaction when your dad took you to the gym? Do you fall in love with it instantly?
I wouldn't say I fell in love with it instantly, but I also wouldn't say I hated it. It was more of, well, I have to do this. It's either this or Taekwondo. And I liked it more than Taekwondo. And my dad's jacked, so I'm like, I want to look like that. You know, I want to have abs. I want to, you know, have a big arm and stuff.
Singular.
And so, what?
One big arm.
Yeah, one big arm. That's the goal, man. No, but I didn't fall in love with it instantly, like a lot of people's like story is. But I enjoyed it. I liked, you know, like getting a pump and like being like, oh, I look cool and stuff. But I definitely didn't fall in love with it instantly. I think I fell in love with it instantly after I had developed a routine. I do really well with routines, and that's why I'm like good at doing the bodybuilding thing, because it's all routines. And so I think once I fell into the routine of it, I really liked it. I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym after school or after work, and then I'm going to get home, and then I'm going to eat, and then I'm going to do this. And it was like a good thing to add to my routine. And I think that's what made me fall in love with it. Not even really the gym part at first. It was more of the consistency of it.
At what point did you decide to compete?
Man, okay, so I started working out during like the tail end of COVID, whenever, you know, my dad made me go to the gym. And then after like only maybe 5 or 6 months of going to the gym, I was like, I want to go to a different gym, because I was just going to a Anytime Fitness like in my neighborhood. It was close, it was cheap, they had what you needed. And I was like, I want to go to a cool gym. So I started trying out some cool gyms in Fort Worth, and I found this one called Absolute Recomp. Now it is huge. I think they're about to open up their 6th location. The guy that owns it is like tens of millionaire, like deca millionaire, I guess. It's huge, but at the time it was like a warehouse, and that was it. It was one location. It was like 30 minutes from my house. But I was like, I'm going to go check this place out. It seems cool. I instantly fell in love. The day that I went there, I got a membership and I canceled my other one. And that gym was like a hardcore bodybuilding gym at the time. Now it's like kind of influencer-y, but at the time it was like a warehouse, old school bodybuilding gym. Not old school, but hardcore, I'd say. And I see bodybuilders there, of course, and I'm like, oh shit, that's pretty cool, man. And so I'm like, okay, now I got to get my diet in check, because I'm doing the training part, but I got to eat if I want to look like that. So I do my own research. I, you know, start eating right. I'm not like on a meal plan. I don't weigh out my food yet or anything, but I'm like, you know, I'm going to get my protein in. I'm going to, you know, eat pretty clean. I'm going to do this. And then one day I'm training at the bodybuilding gym, and this man comes up to me. His name's Cameron Williams. Great guy. I'm not with him anymore, but he was awesome. He comes up to me and he says, do you compete? Like, do you want to compete? And he was trying to sell me on his coaching. But I was like, no, like I can do that. I can compete. I see these guys that are like 250 pounds, and I'm like, well, yeah, they can compete, but I can compete. Like, I'm going to get shit on, dude. And so he's like, let me help you out. He was just launching his coaching business at the time. He's like, let me help you out. He gave me a very, very good price. He's like, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to get you bigger. We're going to do this. And so I started working with him as a coach, and I fell in love with it even more, because that is even more routine. I have to weigh out my food. I have to send him check-in pictures. You know, I have to do this training that he sends me. I have to progress at this rate. It's like, okay, this is something I can get into. This is all routine now, baby. And so I really fell in love with it then. And as soon as I started working with him and realizing that I could compete, I started looking into it online and whatnot. And then I worked with him for about a year whenever I did my first competition. And so The prep for that's about 16 weeks, and so about 4 months, like 5 months before the show, I talked to him, Cameron. I'm like, hey, I think it's time. I want to compete. And so we talked about it, and we got on track to compete, and I competed. I actually competed in Denver for my first show in Colorado. It's looking back on it, it's kind of stupid that I traveled so far and like spent a bunch of money and stuff like to do this like amateur show, but it was an amazing experience, man. Like once again, no regrets. I loved it. My family was there. My girlfriend was there. It was awesome.
Was your family pretty supportive of this, or did they have some reservations?
I think my mom still has some reservations because she's a psychologist and she's like, she doesn't like extremes. I've always been a very extreme person. And so she's like, every time I hang out with them, it almost always comes up, why don't you just eat this? Like, it's fine. And like, realistically, yeah, if I have some mac and cheese, it's fine. I'm not going to be fat. Like, I can eat some mac and cheese. It's going to be fine. But it breaks the discipline. Right. That's the part. It's not the mac and cheese or the pizza or whatever. Like, I could eat a pizza right now and I'm going to be fine. But it's that little nick in the discipline just chipping away. And enough times you do that, and then it'll crack. Yeah. And so I don't think my mom understands that part of bodybuilding. And she's also scared that I'm using steroids, which I'm not. But she's very against that. And so I think she has some big reservations about it. But with that being said, she's very supportive. She is very supportive. You know, my parents have always supported me in whatever I do, even if they don't like it. So I think that's great because I think they realize that I'm a very like free-willed person. Like if I want to do something, I'm going to do it. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, actually.
Right.
I'm not sorry. I'm going to do it. And so I fell in love with bodybuilding. You know, I moved away from home. I can bodybuild if I want. Like if I wanted to use steroids, I could. There's nothing they can do. And so they've been supportive because I think that's the best course of action to take when they don't have control. But my dad has always been very supportive because he grew up being a fan of bodybuilding. He's never competed or like done bodybuilding himself, but he's always like thought it was cool. Like he's never a diehard fan, but like he's thought it was cool. So he's been very supportive of me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I hope some parents hear that. I don't know how many parents listen to the show. It's mostly people 30 years of age and younger, but I hope some parents hear that.
It's a big takeaway, man. It's important.
I have a funny story for you.
Yeah.
I had a bodybuilder on the show.
Okay.
I won't say who. I've had a couple. Mm-hmm. But this specific person, his episode comes out, and a couple weeks later, I get a DM in my Instagram, and I look at it, and it's his mom. And she gives me a huge thank you and says, like, just paid me lots of compliments. Very grateful for that. And so I write back and I said, you're welcome. And we get to chatting and she asked me if we can have a call. And I said, sure. So we jump on the phone and we were talking about, she was like, you gotta help me convince my son to not do bodybuilding anymore. And I said, why would I do that? Why would I
don't know you.
And she said, and I might, if she listens, because I know she does tune in every now and then, please know, I'm not like trying to throw you under the bus. It's a funny story. And the reason why is because she went to one of the shows and she basically feels like it's a big, just like a dude's version of a competition, and she thinks that the comparison part could be unhealthy for the people in attendance. Yeah. And I said, that's a fair point. And I've never been to one. So I have not. Maybe I would also go and I might get that same ick factor that you feel like you're having. Mm-hmm. And it's a very valid point. Do you think, since you've actually done them, is there an unhealthy mental side to bodybuilding?
1000%. If you let there be. I think you have to be very, you got to be the right person. I say this a lot when like people ask me like, oh, you can just do this? Like maybe I should do this. I'm like, okay, well, I support you if you do, but you got to understand some stuff. One, it's really not for everybody. It's really not for everybody. It's not healthy for most people to, eat the same 6 meals every day, down to the gram, weigh everything out, and be like, if you eat something that your coach didn't tell you to eat, they're going to say, that, don't do that again. That's not healthy for a lot of people. But I think if you can get your mind right, or maybe just if your mind is right for it, it's not going to be unhealthy for you. I think you have to understand that bodybuilding is a subjective sport at its core. The judges are who the judges are. You don't get to choose that. When you show up on that day, you might look the best and you might not win because it's not what the judges like. You have to understand that. Whenever you compete, you have to know that you're doing it for yourself and you're doing it because you're enjoying doing it. And if you're only doing it to win, it will be unhealthy. 100% it will be unhealthy. It's the judges who decide who wins that day. And if you don't understand that, like, to its core, then it will be very unhealthy for you.
I don't know if you saw it, but I have a sticky note on my mirror in my bathroom that says your number one metric is, are you having fun?
Nice.
And that is my top metric. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter if an episode gets
Dude, yeah.
1 view or 1,000. If I had a good time with Beck, which I am,
Awesome.
I'm putting the episode out.
Yeah.
And I do care what happens to a certain extent.
Of course.
But if I'm enjoying the process, then I keep going.
Dude, if you love the process and you keep going, like I said, it's going to take off eventually. Like, if you don't, I know, like, statistically speaking, it doesn't have to, but from my experience and my, like, belief is that it will. So if you're not having fun, don't do it, because it might take a really long time, or it might not. It might be tomorrow morning you wake up, you're famous, but you never know how long it's going to take. And so if you don't love it and you're not having fun, stop.
Yeah.
And that, yeah, with bodybuilding too, 100%, because it's not healthy. Even, like, man, I had an experience on my last competition where I literally passed out because I was so dehydrated. You can't.
It's not funny. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. You can't tell me that's healthy. It's not. But that's also one day out of the whole year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that sucked. That was the first time I've ever, like, passed out in my life. And it was, you know, I thought I was, like, gonna be concussed or something because I fell on the ground. But I was fine. I moved on from it, of course. And yeah, you just got to be okay with the fact that even if you're the best, you might not win.
I wanted to circle back to discipline for a minute. I really like how you said, you know, if you start making a chip, eventually it's going to crack.
Yeah.
I have a couple of what I call non-negotiables in my life right now.
Okay.
The top 3 is every Saturday I will post an episode. So I might miss posting a short on YouTube one day, but no matter what, no matter how I feel, even if I don't feel like editing, I'm putting something out there,
Yeah.
a full-length episode. Second non-negotiable, I have a therapist I'm currently seeing. I need to be there. That's a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Evan's my guy. My third non-negotiable is keeping my friends a priority. No
Okay.
matter how busy I get, they get my attention. They get texts back within an hour of texting me, unless I'm recording. They are my top priority in my life, is my inner circle. With where you sit right now, do you have any non-negotiables that you just absolutely will not compromise on?
I haven't, like, ever thought about that, but thinking about that now, I don't think so. You'd probably expect me to say, yeah, I have to eat my meals or whatever. But also, like I was saying, like, being realistic, if I do miss a meal or something, I will be fine. Now, also, I actually have never missed a meal since I started bodybuilding. So that's not to say that that does happen, but I understand that, like, let's say I get in a car crash and I get stranded on the side of the road for a few hours. And that means that when I get home, I have to eat 4 meals and go to bed within an hour. That's not going to happen.
Right.
I mean, if I do that, I'm throwing up. I'm not going to be able to sleep. That is a time where I would skip a meal, or I would skip 2. You know what I mean? I'm going to do the best I can every day to be perfect. But if it doesn't happen, that's okay. And so I don't think I really have. The only non-negotiables I would have, I think my top priority would be sleep. I really prioritize my sleep. Like, I go to bed at the same time every day. I wake up at the same time every day. And I will prioritize sleep, like, over most stuff.
What time do you go to bed?
I go to bed at 1 a.m., but I wake up at 9 a.m.
Why? 1.
I get 8 hours of sleep, and I wake up at 9, and it works out in my routine.
What do you do between 10 p.m. and 1 a.m.?
Eat. I eat. Because you got to think about it this way. I'm a full-time college student. You know, I might be working or whatever it might be. I have to eat 6 meals a day, and I have to go to the gym 5 days a week. And I'm working a job, and I have business stuff that I'm working on, and I have a girlfriend that I have to keep happy. It's a lot of stuff to do in a day. Like, it's like not like in a pity way, but like it is a lot of stuff, like objectively.
Right.
I got a lot to do. And so that time just works out for me. You know, if I have to get some homework done, I'll do it then. Because realistically, I get out of school, I get home, I eat, I get ready, and I go to the gym. I get back. It might be like 8 p.m., 9 p.m. some days. I eat, and I still have 2 more meals to eat. And I like to have 2 hours at least between meals so that I'm digesting properly. And so if I have 3 meals to eat at 8 p.m., that means I have to eat 3 meals in, like, if I was going to bed at 10 in 2 hours, that's not going to work. So it just works the best for my schedule. I'm getting 8 hours of sleep. I feel great in the morning. I feel tired at night. So it works for me.
Can you tell us the story of the shooting?
Yes, I can. Can I go to the restroom really quick?
Nope.
Please.
Yeah, please. Please.
Please.
Yes, go to the bathroom. All right, to reset us here. So earlier you referenced a shooting of some sort that you
Yes.
were allegedly maybe not involved in.
Yes.
Set the stage, sort of like what year, where you were, anything that's relevant.
Well, it was about a week and a half ago. So 2025.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not gonna give the location, but it was in Austin. You know, if somebody wants to look it up, they'll find it. It was on the news. But basically, I work at a coffee shop, and as you mentioned, and my coffee shop's in a bigger building. In the bigger building, there was a shooting, and we are connected to that building. We have a window that opens up so people can order. There's a shooting in there. I don't hear anything because the building's like 6 stories. Apparently this happened on the 6th floor, where, funny enough, I was on the 6th floor for the first time I have ever since I worked there. I took my break and I went up to the 6th floor. The first day I've ever left the coffee shop on my break. Thankfully, I wasn't there when the shooting happened, but about 30 minutes prior to it, I was there. It's a crazy coincidence. I was there for the first time on that day. You know, thankfully I wasn't there when it happened. I go back down to my coffee shop. Apparently the shooting happens. I don't know. No one knows. And then I'm looking through the window. The elevator opens, and I hear screaming. I'm like, oh shit, what's happening? I look, and the victim, I didn't know this, but the guy walks out just gushing blood out of his side or his leg or something like that. And he's just holding it. People are helping him walk out, and I'm like, oh shit, that's not good. And they're like screaming that there was a shooting. I'm like, oh hell no. Like, what? So everyone starts freaking out. And that window that I mentioned previously, you can close it. So I close it because I'm like, if there's a mass shooting happening and that guy's in that building, I don't want any part of that. And so everybody's freaking out. It's total chaos. Everyone's running out of that building because there's a shooting in there. And everyone in the coffee shop is kind of just in the dark because we're in the same building, but we're only really connected by that window and one door. And no one's coming through that door because they're trying to get the fuck out of there because there was a shooting. So somebody does come in eventually and is like, hey, there's a mass shooting. We hear that there's a mass shooting, and everyone starts freaking out at that point. We still don't know exactly what's going on. I don't hear any gunshots or anything. And then about I couldn't even count. Just the most amount of police and fire trucks I've ever seen in my life. Like zoom and just all like surround the front of the building. And I'm like, oh shit, something's going on. Like there is a mass shooting. Thankfully it wasn't a mass shooting. It was just an isolated incident, but I didn't know that at the time. So at the time it was very, very terrifying. All these cops pull up. I see them, running out with assault rifles, running into the building, and we're all like, what the fuck is happening? Everyone's running out of the building, but for some reason, my boss is like, we should just stay in here. And I don't know why she said that, but everyone was just like, okay, we'll just listen to you. She didn't lock the doors. She didn't do any of this stuff. And it really pissed me off because if it was a mass shooting, we could have been injured. But thankfully, after about an hour, the police came in and were like, y'all got to go. We still haven't found the guy. I'm like, it's been an hour. But the building is 6 floors and it's huge. So I'm like, is the guy in there? Did he run out? And so I leave and my boss is just like, go home. Like, it was like halfway through my shift, but she's like, just go home, obviously. And so I start walking to the parking garage where I park at. And this was the scariest moment of it for me. I don't know where the shooter is. And so I'm having to walk like 3 or 4 blocks to where I'm parked. And I don't know where the guy is. There's no cops this way either that I have to go. So I'm not protected if this guy ran over here. They're all right in front of the building. So I'm walking to my car and I get to the parking garage building. And I press the button to go down in the elevator to get to the parking garage. And this was the single most scary moment of the experience. I realized right before the elevator is about to open, I'm like, there could literally be the guy in the elevator waiting to shoot me. Obviously, like, it's a little bit irrational, but I'm in the midst of what I believe to be a mass shooting. I mean, that's scary, man. And there's no police over there. There's no one, like, to protect me. So the elevator's opening, and I'm there, and I'm, like, kind of peeking around the side when the elevator door opens. I'm like, is there somebody in there? Am I about to get shot? Like, it wasn't as, bad as I was afraid of it to be, but it was a scary experience, to say the least. And so I get in the elevator, I get to my car, and I get the fuck out of there. And then I showed up the next day at 6:30 a.m. But yes, that happened. Only one person was shot, and he survived. But right, I hope he still survived. Last I heard, he was likely going to live. So thankfully, it was an isolated incident. But all the news outlets, everyone was saying it was a mass shooting at the time because that's what they thought. So it was not a pleasant experience.
If you said this and I just missed it, I apologize. Did they find the guy or gal?
Yes, they found the guy eventually.
Okay.
They found him a couple hours later. So what had happened is he had ran. He had got on a public bus. Like, he shot the guy. He left immediately, got on a public bus, and was at Starbucks.
Naturally.
Yeah.
When you were at the elevator and going to your car, and those couple of moments, what was going through your head? Outside of the thoughts you already mentioned of I could die, what else were you thinking about?
Honestly, I was like, this is the sad part. I'm like, I don't want to die.
Right.
I don't want to die. I'm like thinking about my girlfriend and about the great things I want to achieve. And I'm like, man, this would be really, like, it's kind of funny, but this would be really lame to die right now, man. It would be really lame. No one will get to see how great I'm going to be. Like, I've already done some cool stuff in my life, but, like, man, no one's going to see if I die. Like, my true potential or what's to come.
Yeah.
And so that was the worst thing. It wasn't even the dying. It was that I haven't done what I want to do yet.
Once you left and you knew you were safe, what was your disposition like the rest of the day?
Honestly, I was a little shaken up for a few hours. I went to the gym.
Yeah.
I did go to the gym.
Was it a damn good workout?
Yeah. It was a great workout, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was just a little shaken up. I went and I picked up my girlfriend from her job right after that. And so we just talked about it, and I was a little, like, not in the right mindset because of what I was just experienced. But, by the end of the night, I was much better, and by the next day, I felt completely normal. Not to say that it didn't, like, impact me in some long-term way that I don't know about, because it could have, for sure. But I feel fine.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably a natural reaction to just be going about your day, and then all of a sudden you have a thought that has never entered your head before of, what if this is it?
Yeah. I was like, and I also just felt helpless because I'm like, okay, if I'm in this building, there's like 1,000 police officers here. like, they'll probably help me. But whenever I had to go to my car, there's no one over there. They're all still at the building where the shooting happened. And so I don't know where this guy ran to. They haven't found him. So I just felt kind of a little helpless, man. Because, like, I never really feel helpless. But there, I'm like, I don't have a weapon. Some guy has a gun. I'm screwed.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do. So.
Well, I'm glad everyone made it out alive.
Yes, thankfully.
You and everyone else,
Yeah.
including the guy that got shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was there any, it's probably too soon to know this, but do you know if there is any publicly shared information about what happened? Like the motivation behind why he assaulted this dude?
I don't know the motivation, but apparently he was just, like, mentally ill, like the guy that shot. And there was no relationship between him and the victim. It was just, I want to shoot somebody, basically. So thankfully, he didn't shoot a lot of people.
Is this an office building? We can leave it, like, very generic, but, like, what kind of structure is this? Do you not want to say? I'll look it up after you leave.
I'll tell you later.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Hard pivot because there's not really any natural segue out of this story into the next topic.
Just do it.
Now that we've sat here and talked for a little bit, I feel like you're a relatively mentally stable person. And
Thanks.
you grew up in you're welcome. I'll give some context to that.
Okay.
You're more than that. You're very articulate. You're a good storyteller. What has been your relationship with social media over the years? Because I'm 38, so you and me grew up in two very different worlds. I had no internet, I had no cell phone, I had no Instagram, and I don't have people your age on the show very often.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So I'm curious, like, what the dynamic has been between you and being a content creator and your own consumption of it.
I'd say it's, once again, I'm a very analytical person. So if it was on a chart, it would probably look like this and then eventually just drop off, because obviously I create content, but I try to consume less of it. And that's because, all right, before I get into that, the backstory, I just, as a kid, I watched a lot of YouTube. That was my main thing. I wanted to be a YouTuber, made YouTube videos, yada, yada. But I loved YouTube. Then I eventually got onto Instagram. Loved that. Instagram Reels became a thing. It's so addicting. I love it and hate it at the same time. But, yeah, so I consumed a lot of social media and stuff. I never really, like, a lot of people get very affected by, like, hate comments and stuff like that. And I know that's, like, a big drawback to social media for a lot of people. I think it's because I've been making online content for so long. I've never really let it faze me. Like, if someone says something about me or whatever, most of the time I'll just laugh at it, to be honest. I don't get fazed by stuff like that. And so my consumption, though, it went very high a lot, and then now I kind of see it, like, for what it is. And with that, what I mean by that is I view social media not just as, like, this is this great entertaining thing, period. I don't view it as that. I view it as, this is, like, a huge industry in business. Like, not, technically, but it's like, this is like another avenue of advertising. Like, everything you see now is selling you something, and that's fine. These people have to make money. But I think seeing it for what it is, like, important. And I kind of view it less as just entertainment and more as, like, I'm getting sold stuff. This is no longer somebody just talking because it's, they like it or they're passionate about it. This is now TV with commercials. This is now this. And so I guess that's my relationship with social media. I guess it's a little more of a negative viewpoint now, which is, it is what it is. But yeah.
Do you feel when you're currently sponsored by a brand, right?
Yeah.
Did you feel bad, or not? Actually, let me rephrase that. Did you feel like you were compromising your integrity at all by taking that sponsorship?
No. And because I don't think the people that I'm talking about, like, negatively, I don't think they're compromising their integrity either, if that makes sense. I don't think, like, they can still be passionate and have these videos, but then also, like, be selling you something in another one. You just got to kind of separate it out. And I don't feel bad about it because I'm completely open about it. I want to make money from this. Yes, of course, I enjoy it and I like it, but I'll be the first to say if I can make money from doing something, I'm going to. You know, there's if you look at it from my perspective, why would I not? You know what I mean?
And I agree. I'm when my first sponsorship opportunity comes up, if
Yeah.
it's a brand that I use and I believe in and I
Yes.
would want people to,
Yeah.
it could better their lives, whether it's a watch, a supplement, whatever it may be, of course I'm going to do it. I want to start,
Yeah.
I want to turn this thing around one day too. It's been a
course.
big expense so far.
Yeah, of course, of course. I think if you're taking sponsorships that you don't actually believe in, like I'm sponsored by a pre-workout company. Let's say I fucking hate that pre-workout, but they're paying me a lot. I think that is not a good thing to do.
I hope Blue Chew's my first.
Blue Chew, nice.
I'm kidding. I don't think I would. I don't think I would take that one actually.
Oh, yeah?
But we'll see when the day comes. I don't think we need a bunch of chemically induced boners in the world. But
Yeah,
that's
probably
a
not.
separate topic for a separate conversation.
There you go. Yeah. No, I think if you're taking sponsorships that aren't something you really believe in, then that's kind of, leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But at the same time, do whatever you want. I'll also be the first to say, if a company offered me like $100,000 to do something, but I didn't love it, I'm probably going to take it. And that's me being honest. I do have integrity, but you could also buy me out. I'll be the one to say it. Like if somebody...
Do you have a random example of something where maybe you would... What's like a product or a situation where you could see yourself saying that?
If there's a supplement... Let's say a supplement that overpromises. Like, let's say, oh, this is the biggest... I actually just had a brand reach out to me yesterday about this, and I'm not taking it because I really think the product is shit, and the pay wasn't to the point where, like, I would be willing to sell it. But I'll just use them as an example because it was a shit product. They say it's going to boost your testosterone if you take their supplement. Well, I look into it. I look at the ingredients and stuff, and I'm pretty well versed on supplements and whatnot. I see this stuff. Okay, yeah, some of this stuff could boost your testosterone, but guess what? It's all underdosed. Like, if I take this, am I going to be better off than without taking it? Yeah, probably, but I'm not going to reap the results that they're saying. If they offered me a shit ton of money, they could buy me out because... Yes, it's beneficial, but just not to the point that they say. But I think a lot of companies advertise that way, and a lot of businesses make a lot of money doing that. And yeah, is it disingenuous and like kind of sucks? Yeah. But it's also, it is the way it is. You can't really change it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if something's just the way it is and it kind of sucks, yeah. But if you want to succeed in it, you kind of have to go with it at some point. A little bit. I'm not saying throw away your whole personality and just take every opportunity regardless. But at some point, you might have to slightly bend.
Yeah.
In order to be very successful. And like I said, I'll be the first to say it. That might be me. I'm not going to just do that willingly, like become an asshole or something. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be muling on this one for a few days.
Yeah.
I'll have to try to think of like some situations if, would I sell out for something?
Yeah.
That's an interesting idea that I haven't thought of too much. I have one more topic for you and one more question. So we're hovering near the end of this.
Okay.
Before we do, 2 questions for you. Do you want to shout out the brand that you're currently being sponsored by?
Sure. Yeah. It's called ZymFit. ZymFitUSA.com/Beck will automatically give you a discount and like refer it to me so I make money. But yeah, it's a pre-workout brand. I won't talk about it too much. There's 2 products. There's a high stimulant one and a low stimulant one. They have great flavors. Great company.
Just out of curiosity, have you heard of or tried pump sauce?
I have heard of it. I have not tried it. They used to sell it at the gym that I trained at.
It's a non-stimulant one, as you probably know, but for the audience, it's non-stim. And a buddy of mine that works at Gold's gave me a free, little sample bottle with 1 serving in it.
Their designs are cool. I like the packaging.
I like the packaging as well. I love the product. It's probably my favorite new pre-workout
Awesome.
right now.
Yeah. Cool.
Not a sponsor, but if you guys want to, I'd shout that out. I wouldn't feel like I was compromising anything.
Yeah. No, I'm not compromising anything for the one that I'm currently with. I genuinely love their product, and I really do use it.
Outside of the last two things that I'm going to bring up, is there anything that you wanted to riff on today that we haven't touched on?
No. I honestly didn't have anything in mind. So I was just kind of open to wherever it takes us.
Okay. I want to circle back to the happiness topic for a minute.
Okay, let's do it.
And see how you answer these questions.
Let's do it.
Why, Beck Call, are you alive?
Why am I alive? Well, I can give you that, my parents had sex.
Right. That's not. There's only one wrong answer, and that's it.
That's the wrong answer. I mean, are you asking me, like, man, why am I alive? Can you give me a little more?
Nope.
No? Okay.
Well, so sure, I'll give you a little more.
Okay.
There's someone, I would shout out his name. Maybe I'll put it in the show notes. So these are not my ideas, but I was listening to a podcast recently, and he was saying that to find meaning in life, you need three things. Coherence, which is some sort of theory as to why things happen. Purpose, I'm going in the direction of these things without getting stuck. And significance, it would matter if I weren't here. So to find out if you have these three things in your life, he has two questions he asks people, and he prefaces it by saying, there is no wrong answer as long as you have an answer. And so question number one is, why are you alive?
I'm alive because I will do great things. I have done great things. I'm a very confident person. I try not to be egotistical. I think I used to be a little bit, but I've worked on that now. But I'm also not shy of saying that, I'm confident in myself. I think I'm alive because I will accomplish something cool and I'll have a happy life. And I'm not going to say the normal, I'll help others, because that's not like my main goal. I think helping others is awesome. It's awesome. Help others. I have helped others. But that's not like my main goal, so I'm not going to sit here and say that. But I'm alive to have a good time. I think that to have a good time but be successful while doing it is my answer. And there's no wrong answers, so.
How do you feel about that answer?
It's sloppy. I think it's a bad answer, but I don't think it's a wrong answer.
How do you feel about the sloppiness of the answer?
Yeah, I don't like it. I wish I had a more coherent answer for you.
You gonna think about this?
Yeah, I might.
If I start asking you when we see each other in the gym about once a month, is that gonna bother you?
Maybe, but it'll force me to come up with an answer, so it's okay. See, I'm not religious, so I'm not saying, like, if the question is implying what is your purpose, that's also hard for me to answer because I don't believe in any religious stuff, and that's what a lot of people default to for their purpose. And I don't think I've found my purpose.
Even though you're not a very religious person, have you ever contemplated if there is some sort of higher power out there that maybe we don't even have a word for?
Yeah. I've definitely contemplated it. Yeah.
Where do you sit with it? You think there could be just where do you sit with it? Let's start there.
Well, I would identify as atheist, not agnostic. And I will preface that, or I'll say that because I personally, I think there's a lot of good teachings in religion, and it's great for community and stuff. And I genuinely wish that I could believe in a God, genuinely. But I have not been proven that. And so I don't believe in it, and I have zero belief in any higher power. But if somebody can prove to me that there is something, then I'll believe it. So I'm open to it, but I have 100% belief that there's not. But if somebody could prove it to me, then sure.
Just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to lead you anywhere. I'm
Yeah.
truly just.
Yeah, go for it. I like
I'm
talking
just
about this stuff.
curious. When you were in the shooting situation,
Yes.
did you find yourself praying?
Hell no.
No.
No. No. No. I would never fall to that because I don't like say, oh, I don't believe in anything, but like when it gets tough, I'm gonna fall into it. No, I didn't.
Well, I was curious because that situation was a little bit more than, oh, this is tough. Like some days it's tough to go to the gym. Sometimes it's tough to eat the same 6 meals.
Yeah.
That was a little bit more than just a
Right.
tough day.
No. No, I like I said, I don't have any belief, like not even in the back of my head. So no. I've the only time I've ever prayed in my life was like as a joke, actually. I don't think I've ever genuinely done that.
Yeah, it's funny because I was talking with a guy who is sort of a ex drug muler of sorts, and we got
The
to
guy you
talking.
just had on?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm like halfway through that.
Are you liking it?
Yeah, so
It's a
far
good
so
story,
good.
huh?
Uh-huh.
You know what? I laugh at people's comments too because you know what someone commented on that
What?
episode. He said, "Oh, I'm glad I found the podcast where we interview the world's biggest losers."
Oh man.
I was like, dude, what is wrong with you?
He turned his life around.
What are you talking about? Jealous much?
Yeah,
like what,
seriously.
What is this stemming from?
I don't know. Yeah,
But
that's wild.
so I laugh at the comments too. But
Yeah, you gotta.
the second question of the two is, for what are you willing to die for today?
Nothing.
Girlfriend?
Yeah. That would probably be the only thing.
Country?
No. I'm not anti-America. I'll say that. I love America, but I'm not going to die for it. I think it's a great country, but I don't know.
Parents?
No.
Sister?
No.
We know it's a no for religion because you're leaning agnostic,
Yeah.
or you are agnostic. I'm trying to think if there's one more good one that maybe you haven't thought of that you might say yes to.
Here we go.
Assuming you're not going to die for bodybuilding.
No,
You saw your health declining, you'd probably stop.
for sure. I'm very health-centric,
Yeah.
for sure.
So just girlfriend.
Yeah.
Why no for everyone else?
Because here's the reason. If I lost any of those other things, as much as I love them, I love my parents to death. I love my sister to death. All of this stuff. You know, I love this country. If I lost any of those things, I can see myself being okay. But I think if I lost my girlfriend, I don't think I would be okay. I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. But like, seriously. Like, I just, yeah. I think I would be okay if I lost my parents. I will lose my parents one day.
Right.
And I'll have to be okay with that. It'll suck, but it'll happen. If I lost the country, there's a lot of other countries I could move to. That would be, whatever. But yeah, I think that's the one thing that if I lost, I don't think I could have the same level of like happiness. Like I'd survive, but I wouldn't be able to be like how I am now.
Yeah. Well, something for you to contemplate. They sort of wrapped up this conversation that we've been referencing, that if your goals are to seek money, power, pleasure, or fame, you will not find happiness. But if you have goals related to faith, family, friendship, and work that serves others, you will more than likely lead a very happy life.
Right.
And I say faith with a grain of salt. I have faith or a belief that this podcast will help other people.
Right.
So when I say faith, I'm not necessarily relating that to something Christianity related.
Right.
It's more of what do you believe in? Do you have morals and values that sort of
course.
act as a north star in your life?
Of course.
So I don't know if you want to think on that, but if you want to see those 8 things and let them live rent free in your head, I can copy and paste them and text them to you.
Okay.
Something just to think about as you're serving coffee and avoiding gunshots.
Right. I'm trying to find a new job, actually. Deal with a lot of shit there.
I hope you do.
Thank you.
Beck, before I ask you the final question, you seem like I was writing down a few words of just different things that I've seen in you as we've been talking, and you seem like you're very scrappy, very disciplined, You have the ability to make decisions. You're quickly. You are adaptable, and I think all of these things lean into having high agency, which means that you're not someone who why you respond to situations in the sense of why is this happening to me, but you happen to life, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you for everything that you bring to the table and for this super fun conversation.
Absolutely. You too, man.
Thank you so much.
Great.
To the audience, before I ask him the last question, if you enjoyed today's conversation, which I'm assuming you did if you stuck around for the whole thing, do me a favor and go hit that subscribe button on YouTube and follow the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And the reason I'm asking you to do this is because I have hosted the show. Beck showed up and told his story. And now to spread his story to whatever young man or woman across the globe needs to hear this so that they can get their internal fire lit, we are completely reliant on you. So if you partner with me to help spread these stories, my commitment to you will be that every Saturday night I will drop a new episode with more stories, more laughs, more inspiration so that you can take your goals and turn them into a reality. So do that quick favor for me. That takes just a few seconds while I ask Beck this final mystery question. And neither of us know what this question is going to be.
Oh, man.
So what I'm going to do, do you want easy, medium, or hard?
Hard.
I knew you would say that. I knew you'd be down to clown.
I don't even know what I'm getting into, by the way.
You don't?
No.
But you say yes to opportunities.
I do. I don't think I'm going to die. If it's going to kill me, then definitely no. But
you're not going to die from this.
Okay.
So pick one. Read it out loud.
This side.
That side? Yep. And tell us your answer.
What is a personal legacy you want to leave for yourself or your children?
It's a good one for you.
Yeah, it is a good one. I think the answer that they want is probably something very, inspirational or whatever.
I want honest.
Yes, honest.
Not inspirational.
I'm an honest book. So here's my truthful answer.
You're an honest Beck.
I am an honest Beck. My answer might sound bad or mean, but of course, if I have children, I want to leave them with, if I can make money, I want to leave them with money. I want to leave them with memories of a kind, loving father figure, of course. But as far as like a personal legacy, I don't really care. And I don't have an answer for that because I think it goes back to me not being religious. In my mind, when I die, there's just literally nothing. Like, there's nothing in my mind. So I don't really care what happens when I'm gone. That's my honest answer. Because at that point, I no longer exist. I'm not. There is no more Beck. And that means there's nothing that can affect Beck or that Beck will ever know about. And so I don't care what legacy. I think as I get older, I probably will, like, oh, he helped these people or he did this or did that. I think I care more about what people think while I am here. And I care more about the impact I have while I am here to see how I can help people or see how I affect other people. But I think as far as like when I'm gone, I don't really care. I want to make an impact while I'm here.
Is there anything you hope people say about you one day while you're still alive?
While I'm still alive. Just the normal stuff that like people say now. I like when people compliment like my work ethic because it makes me keep going. Like I'm not shy about that. It feels good to be complimented, man. I like. I want people to say that I'm a hard worker, and that one day, whenever I achieve the success I want to achieve in life, I want people to see that I got there because I worked very hard for it. I want people to see the honesty that I bring. I want people to say, wow. His answer might not be pretty or it might not be the best, but that's one honest motherfucker. He doesn't care about what his legacy. That's that's weird or depressing or whatever you think, well, it's my honest answer.
Yeah.
So I want people to see that I'm honest.
I appreciate that a
Of course.
lot. I got lied to recently, and I'm getting pretty good at detecting this just because I spend so much time talking to people.
Oh, yeah.
And I always wonder, like, especially in this situation, I don't want to go into details, but there is no motivation for it. I was like, why won't he just tell the truth?
Yeah.
It's very strange to me sometimes. And I think it's because people are scared to reject other people.
Yeah.
And it was basically I invited someone on the show.
Yeah.
And instead of just saying like, no, I'm not interested, he just gave me this really lame answer that was full of bullshit. And as he was like stumbling over his words and yapping about whatever he said, I was just like, just say no.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not gonna care. It's not gonna affect me at all.
Right.
I got 8 guests lined up. I don't,
course.
I'm good.
Of course. Yeah.
So I really appreciate your honesty, and I hope you keep being honest. And, if a moment ever comes where you feel like you need to lie and maybe you want to talk to someone about it, give me a call. I'm good at, hopefully I've proven today I'm good at listening.
Yeah, I think in my past I lied a little bit, like not more than like average or anything, but a little bit. But now I'm like, well, I got to be honest eventually. Might as well be right off the bat.
You'll sleep better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, Beck, this has been so much fun. Thank you for being on the show. And if you're down for it in, 2 or 3 years after you've gone through some growth and had some life experience, if you want to come back and check in, my door will always be open to you.
I would love to. Thank you for having me on.
All right,
it's been
Beck.
great.
It's been great, man. Thank you so much. To the audience, stay healthy, stay happy. We'll see you guys next Saturday night. Bye, everyone.
Bye.